Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. How are you guys doing tonight? This is so exciting. Welcome back to Bardicdice. Welcome to the tavern. Guys, thank you so much for joining. Feel free to put up your feet, have some fun tonight, and enjoy yourselves. Hope you like the new overlay. I'm super excited about it. And thank you so much if this is your first time joining. This is the first time we get to put all of the characters and players together, so it's a super exciting night. And we have some really great stuff. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into some announcements real quick. First off, again, thank you guys so much for the support. Y'all are blowing my mind. Like, this is insane. Last Monday, when we first started our first player intro, we were at like 42 followers. We're at 129. Wow. So thank you guys so much. You guys are amazing. It means the world for me, for you guys just to show up, hang out and chat. If you guys enjoy the stream, I don't know why you would, but thank you so much for enjoying it. But honestly, the most important thing to me, or the best way you can do to support us, no one has to sub, no one has to cheer. It's greatly appreciated if you do, but again, I'm not asking anyone to do that. But if you guys can, if you like the content you have and like what you're seeing and like the community we're building, just give it a share on social media. Just putting the word out would mean the world to me, and I appreciate that. So, and you don't have to, but only if you like it. So, and speaking of which, thank you so much, Jason. Speaking of which, thank you so much, Jason, for subscribing with your Prime. Putting that out there. If anyone does want to support it with a sub, the Amazon Prime or now Prime Gaming, you can use a free sub. So if you want to do that to the channel, you can. So shout outs to Mark and Simple Donut, Rob, and D, and now Jason. Thank you guys so much for being our first 5 subs to the channel, which is absolutely insane. Which I'm excited to announce, and thanks for all of the support. We're gonna do our first ever DiceAntics giveaway. So as you can see on the top of the screen there, one of our little goals is to get to 15 subs. Again, you don't have to, but if you do, as thanks to that, as something you guys can get out of it, I'm gonna do the Tasha's Cauldron book giveaway. So there'll be one special winner that gets that if they sub. So you guys have 1 of 15 chances, or however many chances, to win that. So that's super exciting. Which, speaking of which, a really fun announcement that I kind of teased last week from Wizards of the Coast is their brand new, thank you so much, Rob, for cheering. Again, you don't have to, but it's appreciated. Wizards of the Coast announced the brand new book, Candlekeep Mysteries. So it's not we're not an, wow, I just cracked my voice. We're not an official sponsor or anything, but I always want to push D&D content. I want to get it out there. Wizards of the Coast always makes amazing stuff. Matt Mercer's involved, Chris Perkins. So Candlekeep is kind of like the Yawning Portal. It's kind of a sequel, and it was just announced. It's going to come out March 16th. And it's a collection of 17 short standalone D&D adventures designed for characters of levels 1 through 16, which is huge. Each adventure begins with the discovery of a book, and each book is a key to a door behind which danger and glory await. So a bunch of different one-shot adventures that you can either play on their own, and maybe we'll play one on our channel eventually, or you can put them into existing adventures. So who knows, maybe you'll see one of these in DiceAntics or Fates United. So that's super exciting. And another couple crazy announcements is literally in our first official episode, we have a new logo. So debuting for the first time on stream is our new DiceAntics logo, brought to you by Brahms Art, who's been a watcher of Beacon's Aura and my chat and is a great friend. So please give him if you like the logo, if you like the content that he's doing, give him a follow on Twitter. His commissions are open. He does some really great work. So if you guys want to go catch that out, follow him on Twitter. And look at this new DiceAntics logo. So I'm super excited for it. And another content creator shout out. That's kind of something I want to do, featured content creator. I want to shout you guys out. So thanks for coming and showing up and supporting the community. If you guys create anything on Etsy, or if you're an artist or have something and you want to be featured on the stream, let me know and we can work something out. Speaking of which, our first featured one is, if you guys notice the new music on the intro page, we kind of have our first official, I guess, DiceAntics music that we're going to be using, called Damage, which I thought was really appropriate. I really liked it. It's by Leon Kane. And so you saw it on the intro page and our Be Right Back page. So give him a follow on Instagram. He makes some really great beats and music, and a lot of it's given out for free to support him. So he's an awesome guy. Go ahead and check him out. So thank you so much for letting us use your music. We really appreciate it, and I'm excited to see what else comes out of that. Yeah, so I think that's all my announcements. I'm super excited. We're going to go ahead and introduce all of our players and get right into it. And if they have any announcements for their streams as well, we'll go ahead and jump into that. So go ahead and welcome all 4 of our players. I'm so excited. So yeah, if you guys want to introduce yourselves, we'll go around. We'll do the ladies first and the guys can go second. So you can shout out your social, shout out whatever projects you're working on. D, if you want to go first.
Oh, okay. Deely, at Deely Spears on Instagram. Just drawing a lot, and that's kind of it. I don't really have any projects particularly. It's just kind of whatever right now. So
Sweet.
that's it.
Pew, pew,
pew, pew.
No, definitely go follow her art. She's amazing, and I retweet a lot of fan art she does or of her characters. So she definitely go ahead and follow that. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot more because she always doodles after games and stuff like that too. So
Okay, cool. So hi, I'm Rachel. I do art. I post my art on Instagram at Pip400art. You can also find me on Twitter too, same handle. I stream with my husband Mark, who's I think directly below me. I don't remember what the layout looks like. Yeah, okay, he's directly below me. Woo! And
watch it be John, be like, awkward.
Yeah, awkward. Yeah. Yeah, so we stream on Marquee Gaming together. I stream art on Mondays at 3:30 CST. I usually will stream commissions. It's usually D&D characters that people want me to draw. Sometimes I mix it up with other things. So yeah, come hang out with me on Mondays. It's really fun. I usually have chill music. People say they fall asleep. Apparently it's a good thing because it's relaxing. Not that it's boring, I'd hope. But either way, it'll relax you. So whatever. Come hang out with me anyway.
What do you think?
And I'm done.
All right, Mr. Shirtless Man himself.
Not shirtless in here, though. Trying to be appropriate
clarification.
for all viewers. Jonathan Spears. I am Deely Spears' husband. And I currently don't have any like Instagram projects or anything like that going on. I work as an engineer by day and play D&D by night. So that's kind of where I'm at.
The D&D
vigilante.
Batman.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I am vengeance. I am the role. I am Kahurangi. Awesome. And last but definitely not least, friend of the stream.
Hello, I am Mark. You can find me here on Twitch at Marquee Gaming. And then from there, you can find all the other social media links that we use. So yeah, we stream D&D on Sundays. Rachel does her art on Mondays, as you heard. And then Tuesdays, it's just kind of a random night. And then Saturdays is Legend of Zelda right now, Breath of the Wild. So
I definitely like going to your streams. You definitely have like a fun little community and
oh yeah, they're great.
Fun killing things with what was it, a pot lid?
I was challenged to beat a guardian with a pot lid last time.
Zelda.
Natural 20 on that one. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you guys so much. Yeah, Beacon's Aura is definitely very much promoted on the stream. So if you guys like the kind of D&D you guys get here, definitely check out on Sundays Beacon's Aura on YouTube as well. Definitely a fun adventure. I have no clue this Sunday's gonna go. I'm freaking out as a player. It's crazy. But yes, that's all of our announcements. Thank you guys so much for bearing through that. I'm gonna jump into it because I'm a huge Critter fan and I am not going to compete with them and I want to watch it too. So we'll definitely try and wrap up before Critical Role. So this is like a pre-Critical Role campaign. But yeah, we're gonna jump back into it. Last week we had our 2 special episodes where we got to introduce all of our characters, where they were in this world, a little bit of insights into how this world was created, the lore that's going on that I finally get to share with you guys. Cool. This week, as we jump back in, and hopefully this doesn't mess up the cameras because Groovy turned off. Okay, it doesn't. Awesome. Guys, I'm getting technical, learning how to stream. As we jump back in, we find ourselves back up on the cliffside. Overside, looking down upon the waters lapping up against the shoreline. A small, simple schoolhouse, a wooden building that right now is in session with quite a few fascinated kids learning a story. Their teacher sitting at the front, crinkled skin, hunched over, long white beard, and a blue robe tied off with like a golden sash. Let me turn down the music just a tad. He had been interrupted in his history lessons multiple times to tell the origins of all of the kids' favorite champions. Getting back into it, well, children, I mean it. I told you the beginnings of our champions. Kahurangi, having been thrust into a supposed leadership role in this tribe, dividing and breaking many relationships with this family. Meikai, having been previously banished, now being tasked with representing the tieflings, though up to this point 4 previous choices had been found dead or missing, so how honorable it might be, we'll seem to find out. But young Zachary, trying so hard to keep his family safe, thrust into a greater story alongside the queen herself, in a quest to learn and get more powerful, and of course, dear Anais, found in such a tragic state, just roaming the deserts now, being the last of her kin, being fortunately found and whisked away, all converging on the Centaurium itself. Now, back to the history lesson, everyone. We must all remember our past, or we are doomed to repeat history. Back 50 years ago, you remember I told you that the last king of Organia was a champion himself. He had come to and been trained in the Hall of the Great Centaurium. According to legend, this was the site that the Ancient One had created the primordials themselves. Over the years, many of the champions had been discovered here, and realized that the awakening of the powers were granted to them by the affinities. Until the Great Divide, of course. Once the king was slain, there was mistrust and war among the humans and the primordial races. The Centaurium, though still housing those that believed in protecting the way of the Ancient One and keeping the peace, had laid dormant, not convening anyone for the last 23 years. Until, of course, when attempting to heal old wounds, fate found our champions gathered together again at this first Centaurium in decades. And he starts looking around at the different children who had been wrapped in entertainment, learning about their favorite champions. We're already starting to lose interest. Looking around, the girl who had kind of been in the front, kind of the teacher's pet, was already looking off, and you can see her hair starting to float almost as if she was underwater. A kid in the back seeming to start flicking rocks that appear out of nowhere off of a windowsill outside. Another one who seems to be picking his nose, and then when he goes to flick it, it like turns into fire. All right. And the man chuckles a little bit, a bit of a sparkle in his eyes as he realizes that he's gonna have to try something else to keep their interest. Well, if you're not gonna learn this way, we might as well teach you about the Centaurium from a champion's perspective. Everyone kind of, comes to attention a little bit more. All right, children, let's walk outside. Follow me, follow me. And walking outside of the small wooden school, upon the cliffside looking out to the shore, he turns around, and going down the mountainside to the plains, you can see the backside of the large, glorious, almost castle-like looking Centaurium. A stonework that looks like it's been weathered and aged, vines curving up, the beautiful ornate golds and silvers that create into the spires above as well. The Centaurium seems like it's been here for ages. Glassworks telling the story of creation, the histories of what has gone on. And there seems to be a little bit of activity going around it, but following down the hillside, you can see the main city that supports this. That seems to be maybe where most of these kids come from as well. Well, it was a very sunny day, just like today, when our fated 4 made their way to the Centaurium for the very first time. And that is when we fade to our 4 characters. We're gonna start with Anais. Anais, you had been traveling day and night, stopping very shortly with Bardicdice. and having chances to slowly get to know him, but there's a little bit of an urgency of wanting to get out of the Elvish Plains. As day breaks and dawn starts coming up over this hillside, you guys finally make it over the bridge that connects the Elvish Plains, and had been traveling past, not quite to the main capital of the human capital, but up the coastline, and now can see cresting upon as the forests orange and greens and red leaves that in a way call back to your previous landscape, even though that was greens. You'd never kind of seen this fallish landscape. The trot of the horse, of the two horse hooves, kind of breaking the echo on the rocks. Nice. He kind of turns around and signing to you. Welcome home. This is where I've called home for the past. I don't even remember. What do you think?
So I think as soon as the landscape would have changed, she would have seemed like seemed like her face just is looking more like grateful, I guess, like upon like greenery and other colors aside from brown sand. So yeah, she's like staring up at the leaves with like huge eyes, and then she like turns to him and she signs, I've never seen this before. Right? The colors, basically. You said I haven't seen it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of pointing to the trees. He goes, It's one of my favorite things about this region. It's the leaves and the different seasons up here. We're not held by the greenish wastelands and the pinery of down south, and it's not quite the cold and wasteland of the northwest. It's just right. Peaceful.
Yeah, she like probably will even like if there's like a tree branch overhanging, she'll probably like take a leaf and like keep it.
Yeah, sure, definitely. This one is very much
pretty.
A rustic, kind of like reddish orange leaf with 5 different aspects to it. Yeah, and you can tuck it away and keep it for later. Just as he's coming up to the main section, there is a riverside, as you can see, overlooking to your right. It looks like a large river is kind of built up, and then there seems to be what is a stonework dam kind of filling up the water on the north side. And you can see just at the bottom of this river, right before the dam, is a small town that looks to be quite a few ships trading in and out in a port. And following underneath this river is a bridge that seems to lead right up to the grandscape of the Centaurium. But following the river down to your left, it kind of fades and goes around a curved bend. And just trotting up to kind of this bridge, when looking up at the glasswork and the beautifulness of this old castle. I mean, think Harry Potter, very much like, you know, pillars and different towers and things like that. He turns to you and, I've been thinking, we haven't spoken much of this. I think you'll be safe here, but your father did frequent here, and many people knew who he was. I don't know how you feel about using your surname here, or if maybe you want to pretend to be someone else. Maybe you could be a cousin of mine visiting. You know, obviously I will be sponsoring you, you know, for this convening, but I just wanted to check with you what you wanted to do for this. It's
out of character question. So how many days has it been, you said, like, of getting out to get here? Like, how many days have we even spent together?
Yeah, I'd say you guys spent the night and into the next day riding to get out of the Elvish Plains, and then rested. So you guys had a little small talk, but it was still kind of just awkward, and the adrenaline, and you guys kind of like were processing everything going on. And then spent another day riding up into the Centaurium. So you guys had camped just outside of the capital, and this is the morning you had spent the rest of the, a few hours. So it's like 10-ish, 11, just before noon as the sun gets high, into the Centaurium. So about 2.5 days. And
it's probably the first time, I am guessing, that we've been even near a civilization, like a
pretty much
city.
Yeah, as far as like an actual city, and there's maybe a few farm fronts, like I don't know what best to call it, settlements where some farmers are here and there in outskirts, but you guys kind of went around the capital. You could see it, and off in the distance, and I guess describing that, so talking about the river that had gone through underneath, back at the capital you could see the river going up, and another dam that had stopped right where this large statue of a winged human with wearing a crown, almost looked like an angel. That dam had stopped, and a large waterfall went down, and that fed into one of the main rivers that splits Organia. But you guys had kind of traveled, and not going into the city proper, but alongside of that river, following it up. You could see many ships following up through that water side. Seems to be a lot of trade between the capital and this area, because of the dam system. So.
Okay. Yeah, so I think she would just kind of like look like she's thinking, and like kind of be looking down at like the saddle, and then finally she'll look up and sign to him. I've never had to hide before like this. Do you know what would be good?
You see like just the sadness come over him. It's the struggle of seeing you so innocent as a kid, and being so excited for your future, and now just knowing what kind of position you're in. And as a father, you can see that pain of wanting to keep you safe, just like he wanted to keep his son safe. He kind of looks up, and don't get me wrong, the Centaurium is a safe place. Everyone here is wanting to keep the peace, and all has the same agenda, but it's been tense since the Great Divide, and there are different political views, cultural views. I mean, we haven't convened the different kingdoms in 2 decades. So I don't know who's going to be here and what part they have to play. I'm just worried that if we're worried that someone at your settlement betrayed you, I don't know what kind of allies they had. Your father spent much time here, and if they were in the settlement, then they had access to contacts here. There's not anyone I can think of that would betray you or betray your father, but I also was made a fool thinking that no one would do that, and apparently someone did. It's up to you. I don't pretend to want to tell you what to do and tell you to be someone other than you are. And along this way, I know you had spoken about like the oath of, like being silent. Had you made it clear to him that that like you can, or like that you weren't injured? That it's like
I mean, if he would have asked, I mean, I don't know how like much she'd supply a lot of information unless he specifically asked her. Especially if, she did kill someone. We're kind of coming down off that, and all the emotions of trying to, like, you're not in fight or flight as much. So I don't know how much she would have even talked unless he specifically asked her. So
yeah, you can kind of sense like being back at the Centaurium. This is kind of the first time he seems to be like at ease. Like this whole time he's been looking over his shoulders and just been very tense to get back here and get away. He just kind of looks at you, and I know you have your mission. But it's up to you to find out who you are going to be and how you're going to do that. In sense of saying, find your own voice. So, which, speaking of which, and he reaches into his bag. Not everyone here knows sign language. That's kind of a fun thing your father and I learned. And he hands you a notepad, kind of like a spiral, what almost looks like the different binding books and spell books that you found in your father's library, but a lot smaller, and kind of like hinged backwards. So he kind of hands it to you and saying, you know, well, you have your own voice. You can be whoever you want here. And hands that to you as kind of like a way to be able to communicate with other people here.
Yeah. She will take it and like really like admire the cover for a second. It just seems like anything that's not gross desert stuff she's really appreciating. And so then she'll sign to him, well, maybe we should just say I'm a cousin or someone you know, if you think it's not safe.
Yeah, I'm just worried that maybe word will get around, and I would hate for you to be targeted here. I want this to be a safe place. But again, it's your decision. I will respect whatever you wish.
So she'll decide, should I use your surname?
Oh, right. If you want, I'd be flattered. Or you can make up your own. Like, it's very, you know, like you didn't think about it, you know? Which, let me
You're like,
check if I had a surname for him.
Curse you, Rachel.
Sir Vicarious the Elf. Yeah, no,
Her last name's now the Elf.
no, it's, Alduras. Alduras.
Okay, hold on.
And you can look down at the notepad, and it does say Bricarious Alduras on it.
Oh. Okay, cool. So yeah, she'll like almost like look at the surname and then just nod and sign. If that's okay with you, then maybe that's what I'll just say.
Be honored. Good. It is decided. Anais Alduras. My niece. Of course. Good. Let's not sit out here. Let's get to it then. Are you ready?
She nods a little hesitantly. She looks nervously at like if she sees like any crowds of people or anything with like a bunch of people. She looks like
surprisingly
a little timid at that.
Actually, give me a perception check.
Okay.
Dice rolls.
17.
17. Okay, yeah. You look around, and there's a few like groundskeepers on the Centaurium that are feverishly trying to finish the gardening here and make it look as clean as possible. You can see a few fishermen down by the river that seem to be using this early morning out with their son catching fish. But the road seems very empty. It's very quiet up here. It's away from the bustle of the capital. When you guys were passing by, it was heavy with trade, heavy with traffic coming in and out. Seems to be pretty quiet here. You can kind of hear the birds chirping in the trees, and there's really not a large congregation of people by any means.
Okay, so she might seem actually not too worried. As soon as any crowd starts to show up is when she'll like start like shrieking away, like ah. I think she will, as before they go in, she will sign to him. I forgot to mention this to you earlier. I can.
The horse a bit.
So she'll like kind of hesitate, and then she'll just kind of Here, hold on. Let me look at my spells really fast. I don't remember what my spells are. Yeah, she'll wave her hand a little bit and the ground rumbles slightly.
Huh. You are definitely your father's daughter. He saw the potential in you. Did he teach you?
Shakes her head.
This is not something that you were taught. It came about you naturally?
She like sits for a second and like, how do I explain this? And she almost like she just kind of signs like almost awkwardly, like she's not really sure how to explain this. She just says, "The storm gave it to me."
I'm sorry. I think I'm not sure if I got that last one. Who gave it to you?
Is there a storm like clouds anywhere that I could point to? There's nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a sunny day.
There's like a puff of a cloud. It's like in the distance, but it's not at all like a storm cloud. Like, oh, that thing gave it to you, and there's a little bit of like. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. She just kind of like shrugs, like she doesn't know how else to put it.
It's okay. The arcanes are very complicated, and there have been many studies on how people get magics and the way they're studied. It's kind of what you're here for. We can study deeper on what kind of affinities you are blessed with and are what's the word? You have an easier time conjuring, or eventually this is all learned. Many people that are blessed with magic don't go on simple functional. And he kind of does a quick flourish, and all of a sudden the dirt and sand and grime of the trip is cleared, and he looks fresh, and he goes, "Should probably do that to you too, actually." And he flourishes it again, and all of a sudden your hair flashes out, and there's no more sand, and the grime and dirt from your skin and the satin look of the desert girl is gone, and for the first time you feel normal, clean. I mean,
she's probably looking at him like, whoa.
There are about a third of the nation has some sort of abilities, but many are not able to control them past simple functional level, you could say, without studying. So, be interesting. We can go ahead and study that further if you like. Still need to work on my sign language. I'm not sure if I understood you correctly, but we'll get it. Don't worry. We can write it down.
She like signs again. No, really, a storm did it.
Did you have a vision of such then? I've heard some people being blessed by visions and visitations of the affinities and the avatars and what they used to be, and connections to memories of old to magic users, and that's how they piece together their magic.
She she says, I hope you don't think I'm crazy, but I'm pretty sure the storm actually saved my life.
I believe you. The affinities themselves, the magical sources, the way the world works, it's quite clear that they're still involved. The Ancient One created them, and they guide us, and he kind of pulls into his robes and pulls out the different rocks. He goes, I fully believe the affinities have guided your father and I to the right direction, and hopefully saving the plains. And if it was a storm that's saved you, then I am grateful for that. I'm sure if he saved you for a purpose, it's for a reason then. There's a little bit of not
Just a little
quite
relieved.
understanding, but accepting. You know, he's never, you know, you can tell that like he's never like had a cloud that, you know, like a rainstorm giving him powers. So,
Yeah.
a little bit of like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. You know.
We'll
Yeah.
explore this later. Yeah. So yeah,
mhm.
she seems like at least relieved he's not just being like, that's dumb.
Exactly. Yeah. I am trying to find notes for this. But yeah, so he goes, okay, well, let's continue on. Let's go ahead and get you situated then. Is that it, or are you okay? Are you gonna be settled for this and ready?
She was just like,
Don't
kind
know.
of shrugs a little bit.
I believe in you. You're your father's daughter. And he starts taking off on the horse towards the Centaurium. And as you follow, if you do, you start crossing the bridge there, making your way into kind of across this ornate archway bridge of stonework and large doors that are open at the outskirts of this kind of stone wall that opens up into this beautiful courtyard of varying trees and cultural images. It's obviously a place of decoration, celebration. You can see over pink cherry blossoms that are definitely nothing you've ever seen before. There's pinery and green from this side. There's stonework and statues and what looks like a pyramid on another one. It's beautiful. It's definitely kind of catching your attention and making it different from anything that you've actually seen before. And I can find it. Really frustrating. This is exactly what I thought I was gonna do, is lose the page that had this on. Give me 1 second.
I do that when I DM all the time too.
Yeah, there's like the next scene. But yeah, as you guys make your way in, you now make your way into the actual walls of this castle, and it's a large like entryway, and like what the heck? Yeah. There we go. Jeez. Okay. Thank you. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. I really wanted to get this scene off. So, as you guys make your way into the main area, I'll actually show you what it looks like. And luckily, we have this artwork that I get to use for this stream, which is exciting. Let's just switch this over. And you find yourself in this grand entryway like this.
Ooh.
What it looks like.
Fancy.
Yep. Above, you're looking up, and it's this glass stained artwork that looks like it has 7 different angelic or humanoid or primordial avatars that have wings and storm and earth, and different walkways and entrances that seem to go off and split from this kind of common area. 2 large trees that center around with the different shrubbery. But in the middle is a round orb that seems to be slowly rotating. This is my favorite part of the Centaurium. This is supposedly the site that the Ancient One created the primordials. A soda story, of course. This sphere represents the Ancient One, always giving us the powers and life and keeping the world moving and rotating. And you can look down, and the pillar that kind of seems to go down has 7 different sections to it. Thank you, Rob, for the Dr. Pepper sound. I love it. Sit back, enjoy the entertainment. But 7 different pillars, and on each pillar seems to be artwork that depicts each affinity. Over here,
She's like, oh, just she's probably just taking in everything, like very like even like coming up close to it and like
Mm-hmm.
looking at it and like
Like
you know,
tracing the artwork and stuff like that.
mhm,
You walk up
mhm.
to the first pillar and you can hear him behind you describing, this is the sun affinity. And you trace down rays coming down from the heavens, turning into fire around this pillar. That would be the avatar Solus. And then slowly walking to the next pillar. And of course, the sun would not be without its twin, the moon, Luna. And you can see reflected silver versus, yeah, I had to put her in here, reflected gold. And actually, that's how I named Luna and Pikasaur, because of this game. I just like spurted out. I was like,
That's
"Whoops,
great.
wrong game, wrong lore." maybe he's from this world and he traveled there. Anyway, sorry guys. Cross
Conspiracy theory.
It's true, guys. It's true. No, this pillar is very ornate with moonlight and silver writing that seems to almost illuminate and show this light, whereas the sun was kind of illuminating a bright light. This has like a soft reflection, almost like a mirror. And of course, what would be moonlight without the paint across the sky of stars? Everina. Evarinya. Everina is told to be sparkling and dancing in the moonlight, giving direction to sailors and travelers of all that have been lost upon the waters and on the land. And you continue to kind of walk, hand going across each pillar. And of course, underneath the stars, looking up, is Deloi, the Earth Avatar, Deloi, giving us all home and land, settlements to live upon, the strength beneath our feet. And breaking beneath, and sometimes even stronger than the earth, is the water and oceans, created in the image of Adorna, Adurna. And this depicts a very, on one side, soft and feminine, kind of graceful of like a waterfall, but when you get on the other side, it's very, what's the word? Not peaceful and soft, but very strong and gyrating, yeah, like wavy across the waters. Many times, the softest and peaceful streams can turn into the one thing that carves the earth the most, is water. Then walking around, reflecting off the waters, is Lotha, the affinity of the skies, for the birds and the unlimited potential that surrounds us and the storms itself reside, Lotha. And then, of course, the primal, light, is Istalri, Istalri. In this one, you can see a majestic angel that almost seems to outshine the other ones. And of course, we all know that that's the source of the corrupted magic as well. A yin and yang of light and darkness. It's something I always try and remember, that we have the choice to do good or evil with anything that is given to us. And just kind of looks around, and this is what reminds me to keep grounded, and why the wonders here are. Reminds me to keep peace, and to why would anyone want to disrupt this and make war over the beautiful? But a lot of people, this is why we study here. This seems to be an arcane, you could say, vein of the earth. It seems that the magical sources are very powerful here and seem to find strength and development. So the Centaurium was built.
She like signs, do people, or are different places not as magical as this one?
There are different ley lines around the land that, according to legend, according to knowledge that has been long forgotten since the avatars roamed the earth, that these different areas were where the avatars settled first, you know, teaching and giving the mortal and primordial realms their magics and artifacts and building the lands there upon them first. Legend says this was where the Ancient One first started, so this seems to be the most powerful one of all of them, but who knows? It could just be geographical. A lot of people have varying beliefs, and it's so hard to say now that the avatars and Ancient One is so distant. Many people don't even believe in these legends anymore. They think it's a creation fairy tale. But I believe in them. I think so. But anyway, it kind of looks around, and I have someone to introduce and to make sure that you will be accepted and given a spot here among the convening. Do you mind if I show you at least, you know, where you can get settled and my quarters, and you can go ahead and shower up and get ready, and I'm sure many others will be arriving here shortly.
She like nods, although she may look pretty nervous at the thought of like, I'm gonna go away now and you'll be in this weird place by yourself. She probably still has her stick, I feel like. She's probably still
just like a walking stick and a little spare meat
from
from a
really
jackrabbit.
pointy. Yeah.
He kind of just takes you in, and I might be able to get a few new changes of clothes too, if you want to fit in a little better as well. Not from my closet, of course, but I'm sure someone around here can gather something.
She nods, as probably some of her clothes are pretty ragged at this point, even if they're clean now.
And he kind of, you feel like he misunderstands a little bit and puts one hand on your shoulder. Don't worry, you're going to be great. You're going to make a great impression upon everyone. Don't be nervous. And kind of turns to like continue to follow on and show you. You guys actually continue to walk through this main area, and there seems to be a whole bunch of tunnels, or not tunnels, walkways that go off to the left into new areas. But he continues to go straight, and going outside of this this courtyard, there's another bridge, and you see almost an old church or temple looking place. But he ends up taking a path down to the right, and you see a bunch of towers and almost housing here as well. 2 rows of will look to be maybe different apartments or kind of a bunch of rooms, like all in the same place, and then individual ones. And he starts taking over to one in the corner, and you guys start walking up a spiral up to the top. I was pretty insistent upon being able to look out upon the land and get away from everyone else in my studies. And he kind of shows off a study and a guest room where he says, you know, you can get ready and don't worry, no one will bother you here. I want to go make sure Valis knows you're here and what's going on.
I'll sign Valis.
Oh, of course. He's head inquisitor here, and the cardinal, and he's kind of running the convening and being the one that's keeping everything moving along, let's say. So, are you sure you're gonna be okay? There's food, and he kind of points to food over off the side and stuff like that. And you look over outside the window, and you can see just a very beautiful landscape of where you guys came from. But looking around on the other side, you see a small town down by the kind of dam and water side, and then a cliff side going up, kind of almost to a cliff looking out upon the water. But there seems to be quite a few trees that kind of obscure what's at the top of the cliff.
Okay, yeah, she'll like look around. Is there like things that looks like they'd be interesting to look at while he's gone? You know, like other books and like cool rocks or something.
100%. Give me an investigation roll.
Okay.
Let's see what you find.
Yeah. I think it's a Oh yeah, I forgot I have high intelligence for her compared to someone else I play. So that's 11.
11.
Mhm.
You start looking at the study and the different books here, and there's a lot of it that kind of seems like gibberish to you. You're like, I know I can read the language, but you're not sure what the words are talking about. And there's a lot of different devices and spurly things, and imagine like Dumbledore's office in Aspire, right? But what gravitates to your eyes is a box of 5 blue rocks with 1 missing.
Okay. So she'll just like
You
look at
remember-
him and like touch her necklace.
Very astute. These are the cat's eyes that your father and I were studying. They are from the Elvish Plains, but we believe are a secondary arcane line that breaks off from this one. I've been studying them. But
So
there'll be plenty of time for that. There'll be plenty of time. I must get going. Are you okay? Kind of like seems nervous and just like, you know, like pouring water and putting bread down, and he's never had like a visitor, you know, almost that kind of feel.
she seems nervous too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
so she's just kind of like her eyes are like really big whenever he's asking like, you're okay? She's like kind of nodding like, yeah.
Okay, yeah, more food. I
Yeah.
can definitely get you more food, and like always like continue to like add upon, and it's very much an uncle, very much like, you know, just or a grandfather, kind of just piling everything on. But he ends up kind of just nodding and right, Valis, I'll be back, okay? And he will turn to go to leave. Is there anything that you wish to do here before moving on?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably eat Dee's like signaling she really wants a nice to eat. Yeah, and like get cleaned up and stuff. I do think whenever she's done with that, I mean, she might take her time with that if she feels like, you know, he's telling her this is pretty safe. I think she might be peeking out the door every like 10 minutes just to make sure like she's still really alert.
Sure.
Or she'll hear a sound and she'll just like stop and like freeze for a second. But yeah, she'll just spend some time probably cleaning up for the first time in a while and eating, and if she has some time maybe she'll look around his office a little bit. But
yeah, you can see different notebooks that are scrawled and almost like writing that you can barely read of different notes and dates on there and what seems to be his studies, and continuing to go through, and but you take your time to get settled. You have a chance to, for the first time in 8 weeks, I hate to say relax, that relax is not the right word, but you're, for the first time in civilization, you don't have to find a rock to sleep under or have to hunt for food. It all is in front of you, and even though it's simple and common, it's also very strange and kind of weird to be back in it again. We'll leave Anais there, contemplating and looking out the window and stopping at every little wind that
poke your head out the door.
Yeah,
just closing it again.
there's like a woman that freezes. Just brought you clothes, sorry. You got like a stick ready. Yeah, no.
Yeah, for sure.
Murder on the tower top. No. But yeah, we leave Anais there, and returning back to the capital, we left Meikai. Meikai, you had been tasked by the king himself to now represent the tieflings at the convening. You get a sense of, yeah, we're sending someone, but we don't really care at this point, because if people are going to die, then I'm going to send you. Feel from the king. It doesn't really seem a sense of urgency of them wanting to do anything specific. But your father had given you the pendant, and the next morning, the man that you had seen, the one with the almost fire bones that glowed and very greasy skin to him, He had met you in the morning and given you some gold and told you that a carriage would be ready for you to pick you up at dawn over by the south gate. And he goes, here is gold to take care of yourself. I have my own business in the capital before returning. I'm sure you can make do, of course.
Sure. You're not coming with me, though? I don't have to worry about that?
I'm not going to ride with you, girl. I have my own business to attend to.
Alright. Well, and she's kind of like looking at the gold and just whatever.
Very well, anything else I can do? And he seems already just distant and ready to move on.
Yeah, no, I'll just turn away from him and...
Yeah, there's very much a cordial, you both kind of like nod in, this is just culture and this is what's respectful, but I'm done with you kind of motion. Very much, he's ready. So he starts walking off, heading back up towards the castle. But you have 100 gold in your pocket. It's the dawn is starting to come up, and there's a south gate, supposedly with a carriage waiting for you.
I have 110 gold? I'm gonna get some magic items. I'm just kidding.
You can try. You can go see what's available.
No, I'll, Wait, did he say... Sorry, I think I missed... Did he say when the carriage will be there, or that it's just there right now?
It'll meet you at dawn at the south gate, which is, it's just cresting now to dawn.
Dawn.
Yeah, which is pretty much now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, no places are open anyways. I still have the pastries from yesterday.
Slightly stale, a little bit on the edges, but still fresh enough to eat, for sure.
Yeah, I'll just... I mean, I already had all my stuff with me, so I'll just go and find this carriage.
Okay. You make your way back down the main fairway of this upper town. This is very much where the stonework and houses are very well built and well kept and clean. And passing by, you get down to the gate where there are quite a few guards and militia there with the royal symbol of Organia. But you can also see two carriages. One that seems to have a few knights standing around it with very decorative armor that seems to be waiting there in one carriage. And then back a few ways is a lot simpler carriage and just a man that looks to be quite possibly a farmer that they chose off the land. It doesn't look anywhere as ornate or well built as the other one, but a typical carriage for kind of this area for travel, waiting for you. And Lady McKee, is that correct?
No, lady, just Mickey.
Ah, right. Yes, I'm waiting for you. Ta-da! He kind of like, yeah, it's your carriage.
Yeah.
It's my first.
Thank
It's
you.
my first day.
What...
I don't know what I'm doing, to be honest.
Oh no, your greeting is very good. That's very good. What is your name?
Oh yes, of course. My name is Larius.
Larius. All right, Larius. Well, my name is Mickey. Thank you for doing this. Were you already paid, or am I paying you?
Oh, I mean, I've been already paid.
Oh.
I don't think you need to pay me.
Okay.
Tips are always appreciated. You can tell he doesn't know what's appropriate or not in this moment. He has no clue who you are. Or, yeah, very unpracticed in what he's doing.
I'll give him a gold and say, and if we are able to make it,
I can't.
I thought you just said tips.
That's a week's worth of wage for me. I can't.
I was given this for my travels, so I don't know what to do with it either.
Lady Make,
this is more than I make in a long time.
You must be of royalty then. He's like you know, like trying to dust off, and he goes to open up the door for you. He's like, I didn't realize how important you must be if you are gracious me with a gold. Thank you. No, of course, no. You don't need to explain. It's fine. Let me grab your bags for you. And he's like going over to try and grab.
And
like, your
I'm
bag
just
off
gonna hold my hand up.
you.
We are dropping the lady. I am of no importance. I just had this money given to me. I don't know what to do with it. Just
that's a lot.
get me there safe. Just give me there safely. And that is it.
Oh, sure. Yeah. No, I mean, these things, they're pretty safe. I mean, granted, the driver that's supposed to do this one, I heard, died yesterday. But they cleaned it off. I should be good. We'll be fine, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
sounds
like
good.
I said,
Why not?
there's not many drivers in town. They just picked me off the street and said, follow that one. I was like, okay.
That's
it's pretty cool, right?
kind of why
Yeah.
they picked me too.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just gonna go in.
And he goes to grab your bag, to, like grab it for you. Like, let me get this for you, and just still holding it.
I'm good.
Are you sure? it's my job.
I'm fine.
Still holding it,
No,
like.
it's only.
But
It's only
okay.
this.
You can put it in the back if you want, and finally like let's go.
I would prefer to keep all my belongings with me, please.
Oh, sure. I don't know what's right, so go ahead. And he turns around.
Thank you.
Opens up the door again for you. I believe we're just waiting on whenever, you know, the Inquisitors are ready to leave, but you're ready whenever you are.
I'm guessing that there is someone of actual importance up with the shining carriage up there, and
I mean, it must be. There's 3 Inquisitors up there. It's
Yeah.
really cool. I mean, I've been kind of nervous. I wanted to ask for an autograph of one, but you know.
well, maybe when we make it to our destination, they will be impressed by your skills, and you can ask them.
Do you think you could ask them for me? You seem like important.
I am not important, but
You have a carriage.
sure.
You're really important.
We'll see. I'll just go in. I'm just.
Yeah, it gets a little awkward at that
Sitting
point.
down.
You're just kind of like, cool.
Yeah.
Like,
I
Awesome.
just sit like. I don't want to be called a lady, but I'm sitting very like proper and just waiting for him to close the door.
he's just kind of like standing out there and like looking around. He's like, oh, that's really cool. I'm pretty sure that's Lady Leetta up there. She's really cute.
Oh, do I know that that's the princess lady?
Lady Leetta, give me a history roll.
Let me find where my history. Come on. 18.
18. With your studies, you know, and have read about the Inquisitors, who are very much seen as protectors or interveners of different peacekeeping missions, or, you know, when nations need help. And this is kind of like a unofficial official view of like what used to be of the One Kingdom. They're kind of remnants of that, in which they protect the old ways of the Ancient One. You've heard enough in your time here that one of the Inquisitors is Lady Leetta. And you can look up and see she's wearing a very silver armor with a dove? Let me get back to my list. With a silver dove on.
Mark is saying yes.
Yes. I really need to organize my pages better because I can't find it.
Oh, you're
'cause
good.
There's all this in there. Okay. And
okay,
then
I was thinking it was the princess, but
yeah, no.
Yeah.
So you see Lady Leetta, and then you also recognize with your role Sir Riadorius. He's up there kind of smiling and chatting away with everyone, kind of seeming to be the life of the party. He has red armor with a golden like red dragon imagery. And then you didn't quite notice him at first, but just kind of standing cross arms against the carriage. You thought it was just a shadow, but now when you're looking over, you see a very pale-skinned, dark-haired, with a scar on his face, man who's wearing black armor with a purple worm imagery on it.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yep.
All right. Nice. Well, yeah, so I'm just going to hang back until whenever this starts. Take out a book or sketch or something and just do that in the meantime.
Sure. It's like 2 hours that you're waiting there.
Gosh.
The sun comes up. You do see about halfway through an old man and a younger boy seem to come up to the carriage, and you kind of look out a little bit, and they seem to be talking a bit. And it's not for another hour when you see a fourth Inquisitor and someone with their hood up, seem to be wearing very ornate clothing, eventually come up and meet the carriage. But before we jump over that, Zachary, you had been walking along with all over the place right now. I'm sorry, guys. With your mentor,
Arcanist Turin.
Yes, Arcanist Turin. Going over the different arrangements that he's made for your sisters. Don't worry, they'll be fine. I'm gonna look over them personally. Don't worry. And you're all packed, and I put an extra couple books in there for the road and for your studies. You're kind of looking around. If you could maybe send me a few, like, scrolls from the Centaurium, that'd be really cool. I've been trying to get a few hands on a few of them over there for ages now.
Okay.
Good boy. And you guys walk up, and you can see 2 carriages that seem to look the same, but you can you spot a little blood on the bench of the second one, and realize that was the one you guys were protecting yesterday. And there's just a farmer kind of standing around, and you can see a tiefling with silver hair, silver eyes, and silver horn. Right? Everything? No.
Not silver eyes.
Silver eyes. I'm sorry. What are your eyes?
They're, well, it depends on how far away, but they're half blue, half purple, and then have that little silver crescent in them.
Very pretty eyes.
Details.
From your
That's
distance.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seemingly looking out the window, sketching. But you make your way up, and you can see Lady Leetta talking with them. Is there anything you wish to talk about with Arcanist, or waiting another hour or so for your second guest?
I'll just sit down and start looking through a book, I guess, for now.
Okay, sure. Yeah, he kind of says, well, I must get going, but good luck.
Thank you.
And he eventually starts walking off. And about
one thing.
Yes.
My sister, make sure that she gets better.
Of course. I will make sure all of the finest clerics in the castle will attend to her.
Thank you.
And he turns and slowly kind of hobbles his way back up towards the castle proper. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
11.
11. Yeah, you kind of look off to the distance a little bit before getting into the carriage with your book, and you can very much see the separation of the upper town here, the capital, and what seems to be very much the merchant and trade route here. This seems to connect the mainland to the capital and then up the river. And you can see a boat with not a naked man, but a shirtless man, and another one seeming to dock at the same time. But not really thinking much of it, you jump into the carriage and start reading your book. As we join Kahurangi, shirtless, slowly kind of tying up the boat and getting this tied off to the deck, making sure you didn't get your finer wares wet or anything. your father, knowing that you would be the one tying up, and some of the other Kalishtar that had kind of been helping travel with this boat are tying up the boat to the dockside. So he had already stepped off and was like awaiting for you to grab your stuff and join him.
Yeah, so I'll finish, like you said, tying up the boat, and then I'll gather up my pack, my spear, and I'll head over to where my father's standing at.
And you feel that similar familial or cultural mind link as your father's kind of looking around and very much very poised and relaxed in most senses. You feel him a little tense here as kind of looking around, and where they really do bustle around here, the humans. It's not quite as beautiful as home, but are you ready, son?
I'm as ready as I can be with people who seem to rush everywhere.
Hopefully you will show them the beauty and the peace of slowing down and using one's mind before using one's brute strength. I think it'll be good for you to take time to figure out who you're going to be as well. Yeah.
I'll do what I can, Father. I think there is a journey here. It's like the smell of the sea before you cast out. You know that there's something ahead, but not quite sure what.
It's exciting. I am sorry for your brother and sister's attitude towards you. You know they've been through a lot or expected quite a lot, and the events of the other night were quite surprising, to say the least, as you picture back to the ceremony of choosing where your older sister was supposed to have been chosen as the next in line and chieftain of your family, but seemingly was embarrassed in the ritual of not being chosen, and you finding out yourself that your parents had given you over to the affinities at birth as you were stillborn, and blessed seemingly as now the chosen had chosen you to take over. But you could see the pain in your sister's eyes and in your brother's eyes, and you already flash back to your maiden sister, your shield sister, and kind of all this is just a quick flashback to you in this moment as well.
Mother said she would do what she can for them. I understand my quarrels with my brother, for those have existed for some time now.
Yeah,
but
I hope he had forgiven you in time, but it seems those wounds are deeper than I thought.
I do believe those wounds are deeper than you think, Father. There are wounds between me and him alone. As for my sister, I think it is her pride that is shattered, but I don't think that means she is gone. I think Mother will be able to do something about that one.
I think so. Your sister is proud and skillful, but comes around eventually. I'm sure she will support you in this endeavor as well.
I hope so. I could use her knowledge and understanding that I had never gained.
Speaking of which, he did destroy that crystal. Don't want you to go in unprotected. He's kind of looking around again, and you seem, you know, your father's not one to be racist by any means, but there's a deep distrust and concern being around the humans. But you see him grab his shoulder, and in the same manner of your sister, winces a little bit, and you see his tattoos glow and start to coalesce into a green stone that he takes from his arm. Natali Mamita, my son, which means proud son in Kalashtar. He raises this to your shoulder and slowly pushes it in, and it starts glowing and wrapping almost like a dragon or veins or ivy on a plant seam going down and creating a sleeve tattoo that doesn't seem to be fully finished, but kind of the beginnings of one. Your journey starts here. I'm excited to see what will come of it.
Are you sure about this, Father?
Are you going to outrank me soon enough? I'd be honored.
Do not travel without something of your own. And I grab my own tattoo. It's just like a simple armband one. And I pull that one out. And in the mind link, Father, let us be joined in memory, as well as the tattoos, to be a symbol of protection at home and protection abroad. And I give him the tattoo that was mine before to him in return.
You see as you press it into his arm, it creates a band of your tribal markings. And he looks down. Mother's not going to be proud of me wearing a soldier's band, but I will wear this with pride and show it off to everyone I can. We'll come visit. I'm sure your little brother will not let a whole year go past without wanting to visit you.
I'm sure he will want to be here as often as he can. Do make sure he prepares himself otherwise appropriately, though.
Oh, of course. No one's out there to go get 3 fish per trip. He's gonna have to step up. And he turns and reaches into a pouch by his side, and the different tribes, the ones left, gave a small offering, and here for your travels, and he hands you 100 gold. Which is by far more than a soldier's salary. For sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
This is a hefty sum in your eyes.
Yeah, I kind of look at it, my eyes a little wide, and I look up and I'm like, I'm sure this is more money than I would have ever made in my lifetime, Father.
Yeah, I believe there are a few tribes that are embarrassed to their kin and want to appease the affinities and appease their new future chieftain, of course. Very much, there's a lot of power and... not power. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with leadership. I would hope that you would focus on that here and learn examples of what you should and what you shouldn't do, and the ways to lead your people, if that's what you choose. Again, your mother and I might not agree on this, but I don't believe the choosing has to be the path that you take. I believe you were blessed and you are blessed. You also have free choice to create your own path and to be a trailblazer. You will lead your tribe, whether in leadership or example. And he puts his hand kind of pointing to the tattoo. Your way, not anyone else's.
I kind of like clutch my spear, looking off into the sea. Look back to my father. I will do what I can to be wise. But I think there's much for me to learn before I can really choose which path to head down. So I think forward is the only way right now.
You could learn
Nice.
sometimes to speak a little bit more direct. You do like to speak in riddles and fortune cookies. There seems to be a little bit of a laugh from him. Yeah.
Yeah, Kahu just laughs as well. Forgive me, Father. I will miss you and the family.
We're with you.
And
He points again
and
to
I
the
will
tattoo.
find who I am.
You're never alone. That's what our ancestors and our cultures are there for. Our kinship stays alive through every adversary. Adversary, not anniversary, sorry. And every anniversary as well.
I'll step up close to my father. I'll put my hand around his head. I'm actually taller than him, so kind of lean down, forehead to forehead.
Forehead to forehead, yep.
Just say, thank you for trusting in me, Father.
Of course. Make us proud. And you see up on the dock, the two Kalashar that had traveled with you had gone and found a horse for you to ride to the Centaurium. And your father, just again without, or at this point, not even saying goodbye, is custom for a lot of ways. You guys don't say goodbye when you leave for war or leave for your travels. It's very much a, you know, we'll see each other again sort of feel to it. As he walks on the boat and kind of watches you off.
I turn and I head for the horse. I climb up on it. I look back one last time. And I think to myself, forward is the journey. And I head forward.
Sure, give me a perception check.
Could be worse. 12.
12. So as you're jumping on the horse, you see a flutter of curtain from two carriages here, and a flutter of a curtain close on the second one, as possibly someone in one of the carriages had been watching you. But you quickly grab the reins and, without seeing who it was, take off the path up towards, which, you know, they had given you instructions and direction to the Centaurium.
Right.
Yeah. So you travel off. Your horse is obviously a little bit quicker than the carriage. Finding yourself following the river path up towards the Centaurium. It's definitely a quicker route, but a little bit more of a smaller path. It's not the main trade route that the carriages and the delivery carts go, but it's a very beautiful scenic route that follows the cliff sides and waterways, as you can still feel almost like you're on the water, even though you're riding, you know, upon the land up, and you can see different waterfalls cascading up this river, and paths that different boats are taking slowly. And you as a sailor, as a navigator, realize it's not the easiest path either. You can see the tradesmen struggling to row themselves up the river, though your strength, you'd probably do it a bit easier. But it's an interesting sight you can see. But there's definitely many merchants, a lot of empty ones coming back down the river a little bit quicker. They kind of like diverge into two paths. As I will hydrate. Thank you, Nelson, for joining. Is there anything you are doing, or just kind of riding on your way?
I'm gonna ride, and then I'm gonna, obviously, like you're talking about, take in the sights and things like that. Kind of get a feel for the land and the waters, and just as I travel, just kind of a little bit in awe. Like, I've seen stone structures before, but it's always been like, is really when we were dealing with the dwarves, right? And there's a different kind of stone structure, different kinds of builds. So I'm a little bit in awe about how they've really expanded this for the way that it is now. And I'm just heading to the Centaurum, and yeah, unless I see something that really catches my eye, I'm just kind of heading that way. So,
give me a perception check then. See if you roll any better.
7.
Wow.
Level 1. Level 1.
Beautiful up here. Yeah, but you do notice the stonework seems to be a lot of times very much organic and natural, even in the places that seem to be carved and primordial or human made. It's very much different than the dwarven, like you said, architecture that you saw that seems to be carved and you could see the chipping away of larger rocks. This almost seems to be molded out of the ground, as if someone was just, you know, playing with the landscapes and the stoneworks and creating majestic statues and pieces up here. It's almost in unison with the rocks. It's very beautiful. But yeah, you focus very much on your travels there and the landscapes, and in awe as you eventually make your way up. You can see cresting on the hill the pillars of the Centaurum, and in the middle a very beautiful glass dome at the top, and a tower up that seems to look over the cliffside unknowingly, with a curious wood elf that seems to be freaking out up in the tower. But we'll go back to our capital as Zachary, you are waiting up front with Lady Layetta and the Inquisitors, as you slowly see a fourth Inquisitor that you had previously not met before. This one, let's see. This one riding up next to, which you recognize as the Lady Queen, now done with her ceremony and ready to ascend over this next year to her leadership role as Queen. She's wearing a red hood covering her face. But the Inquisitor that is going with her now is wearing brown, almost rustic armor with a brown bear on the front. That way you don't have to change your notes.
There we go. There's the bear.
Is Mark a prophet?
He's a prophet. For everyone that doesn't know, Mark was asking about the different Inquisitors for her, and he's like, wasn't there a brown bear? Pretty sure there's a brown bear somewhere. I'm like, there will be. And there now will be. But you do not recognize him, as he does seem to be some sort of replacement for Sir Wit, the one that unfortunately, supposedly, found his demise on your trip yesterday, as you had been tasked as Lady Laetta's squire to join with her to escort the queen, or you didn't know it was the queen at the time, to say, as she gave her took a trip to the royal cemetery to visit her father, which you now know to be the slain king, who was a chosen one himself, had been the king that had everyone, or at least many of the humans, saw as uniting the kingdoms into one in a very peaceful time frame. And looking back, you can actually see the statue of the king with angel wings, overlooking kind of the dam and riverside. But they roll, or they trot up on their horse, and safe from kind of prying eyes, you can hear a voice from underneath the hood, and she goes, "Good, I'm glad you're ready. I don't like waiting for people." You're going to ride in the second carriage. I'm going to ride alone. And she gets off her horse and walks directly into the carriage as the queen. But the inquisitors kind of nod and kind of just let her be. But you see Sir Radirius turn and, Sir Graf, this is a pleasure. You don't leave the castle much. Dare say you were hibernating much the winter with your travels about. And you just hear a groan from Lady Leota. Just, all right. Well, I'm glad you are joining us. It's the extra security from what happened yesterday. We want to make sure that everything goes quietly and safely. Are you all ready? Is there anything that needs to be done? And you hear a little knock on the window from the carriage as Lady Leota walks over, and the window gets cranked down, and you just see a pouch being handed out. This is for the boy. And she just rolls it back up. All right, then. And she, Lady Leota tosses you and says, well, yes, this is your fee for escorting the queen to the Centurion. And pretty hefty. Seems to be about 100 gold in a pouch for you.
All right.
So yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Pocket it.
Lady Letta's just kind of standing there waiting for you. You ready?
Oh, yeah. Let's go. Let's go.
And you look around, and there's 4 horses, 4 inquisitors, and 2 carriages.
So I guess I'm in that carriage.
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll go. And I'll walk up to the back carriage.
And the guy is just the carriage driver's just kind of standing there looking at you, and oh right, that's me. Oh sorry. Oh my bad. And he's like jumping down to go grab the door for you, and he opens it and he goes, miss, hey pal, you got someone with you? And he opens the door, and opens the door for you as you see Makai, a tiefling with silver hair and silver horn and blue and purple eyes.
Oh, hi. And I'll just like sit opposite, I guess.
I just like have my sketchbook and okay.
And you putting the 2 of you together would be amazing.
You can. My name's Zach. I'll pull my book.
We're just doing this the whole time.
Are you drawing his scarf at all? Are you obsessed with the scarf, or is that just a D?
That's just me.
Okay.
It's just a personal thing. Along with Rachel. It's Scarf Club and Rock Club.
Scarf.
So you're going to the school?
Yeah. Last minute, but yes. And you are? I saw with everybody up there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's last minute for me too.
You feel a lurch of the carriages. You're right. Yeah, go. You could do it. Yeah. From the distance, and it like lurches forward, but then kind of settles into a trot as
Is there like a window that like back to me where it's the driver? I can
yeah,
look at?
yeah. Mm-hmm. It's closed at the moment, but yeah.
I'll like slide it open and just be like, you got this, and I'll cast guidance on him.
He feels.
Thanks. You have really warm hands. Thank you.
Yeah.
But you see a yeah, and a little bit more of a focused rein on the horses as I feel like it assisted him a bit.
A little more smooth now.
When casting guidance, is there any like? That's just like there's no like verbal or like.
It's verbal and somatic. It's both.
Oh, okay.
You definitely see him waving his hands and doing a some. I'm assuming you don't know arcanic languages. Are you proficient in Arcana?
No, but I have thaumaturgy.
Yeah, you'd have no clue what he's saying.
Dang
and
it.
you don't see anything, but you can see him moving his hands, and then all of a sudden he touches him, and you can see a distinct difference in how the driver holds himself, but you don't see like any visual aspect to the magic.
Magic boy.
Do you say
You
that
can call
out
me
loud?
Zachary. You can call me Zachary.
Glow
Yeah.
boy can glow.
Zachary.
Magic boy does magic.
So I can assume that you are studying magic then.
Yep. That's what I'm doing.
I'll use thaumaturgy to kind of like rustle the curtains.
Oh, cool. And I'll do the same thing.
Yeah.
Just like warring curtains on the inside.
Deely can't help but like be smiley this whole time. Meikai is not smiley this whole time, and she's like,
How much of a competitiveness is there between you guys as you guys rustle the curtains? Is it a show off thing,
Mine-
or is it just a informational like?
no, that's
Mine
just
was
like
not.
okay. Yeah, it's not a competition thing. It was just like a magic. Like a magic handshake, but not handshake.
Okay. Yeah, more just like identifiable. Oh wow, I can do that too, kind of thing. All right.
Mm-hmm. You know, you are the. Do I know that he's an ASMR? Looking at him, because I knew the other girl was, or no? Does he have?
That or Mark, is it noticeable markings for you being distinct from a human being this close, or?
I mean, I would do what I could to hide that.
Okay.
Typically,
Give me a
I
perception
want to blend it in.
check.
Yeah, just as I'm looking at him. I mean, I'm not looking for anything specific. This is more just like me taking it in.
Yeah.
Especially because we're like 4 feet away, not social distance. Natural 20.
Oh, natural 20. You're looking at him and pretty human looking, but then you focus in on
Yeah.
the scarf and you see it. You definitely recognize it not to be of human made design work. And you are
Being
somewhat
human.
familiar of Celestia as being
It's my neighbor.
cousin neighbors, and
Mhm.
almost, and sometimes enemies of the state with between you guys. You guys have a roller coaster past between your nations. But what really ticks it off to you that he is not human is when you end up making eye contact with him. You can see the small sliver in his eyes that is similar to yours, but almost reversed.
Okay. I don't say anything. I'm just noticing.
Yeah, definitely natural 20.
Ah!
He is not gonna hide. Sorry, Mark.
Just has the whole.
It's fine.
That's an inhuman quality. Yeah. So I just kind of get back to sketching or also reading a book. I'm sure. How long is this trip supposed to be?
Yeah, it's a few hours for sure. It's
Okay.
the path that you guys have to make is very windy as it goes kind of up the mountainside, and it's definitely early afternoon by the time you guys get there. If you had left at around 10ish, it's probably going on 3ish or so in the day by the time you guys would have gotten there. So you guys could definitely continue talking, or if at some point it kind of just like quiets off to that silent awkward ride, or however you guys happens.
I think as it like gets like lunchtime, I'll pull out like the baked good things that I got, and I'll just like offer him one.
Does that have any kind of packaging on it?
No, but you definitely recognize these types from Kylie's Bakery.
Okay.
They're very. Everyone here has a signature style. You would recognize someone's woodworking.
Big
the
K
bakery.
right on him.
Right, yeah, K.
Oh, these are good. Good spot.
Yeah.
My sister works there, so
That makes sense. I can see
As
the family resemblance.
Make how you
Wait,
put
what?
2 and 2 together from your adventure that, ooh, you must be related to that girl.
Yeah. Just yeah. Is she doing all right?
I guess. Am I getting the sense that she knows who it is? It's a personal
Insight
question.
check. I mean, no, I'd say you don't even need a roll for this one. She clearly recognizes somehow by. Actually, no. Give me an insight roll. Yeah, we'll see how
Yeah.
well you can riot roll it.
It's a 14.
14. She definitely recognition, whatever. She definitely recognizes that, as if like I've seen or met this person before, but you notice there is a solemnness to her voice as she asks about if she's okay. It's not very much like, oh, is she doing okay? Like,
But you know my sister?
What was her name? Iris?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I saw her at the bakery, and then, she almost got taken by men, and I punched them, and then they
What?
ran away.
What?
Meikai's not laughing.
Who are these people?
I don't know. I just punched them because they were taking her. I got then taken by a weird man in a robe, and the guards helped her, and I was taken somewhere else. But she's safe, or at least I assume she is.
When was this?
Last night.
Oh man, I don't know.
as you are now about 2 or 3 hours away from the castle.
I know. I start furiously writing a note.
Mhm. Sorry. The awkward silence that ensues.
Yeah, I don't know how to proceed. Meikai's just like looking out the window.
I'll finish the note and then just be like, thanks for helping her.
Oh, yes, of course. I'm glad that I was there, but it's very unfortunate to see when these things do happen. It seemed like a nice neighborhood, so it seemed a little extra shady with those two men, so I'm glad that
Humans?
she's doing well. Yeah. Do I remember what they look like at all? Or do you want me to roll?
No, I mean, very Amin sailor folk, warts, you know,
Yeah.
kind of skin weathered, nothing really
Mhm.
special. But you do remember Ascarius handing them off to the guards and them being essentially arrested
Yeah.
by the
yeah.
royal military here.
Yeah. The guards got them immediately. So
Okay, good.
yeah, I'm glad that she got home safe. I was a little concerned, but I got whisked away by some other business suddenly. So that's good.
Well, it's good you have business.
Yes. These cakes are very good.
Yep. And I'll put my book back up as a read.
Yeah, we're same time. We're just like, all right.
Do you guys spend the rest of the trip in quiet?
I think so. I leave the little treats like out next to me, but that, inviting that he can take some too.
Oh, you guys are
but-
Harry and Ron sharing cakes on a trip to school. A little bit more more dramatic. But yeah, so you guys spend the next hour or so in quiet. As a few times you just hear this, "Whoa, Nelly! I'm gonna call you Nelly from now on, and you got it. You can do it." As the driver's making his way around some wide, some paths, which really at this point the horses are just following the carriage in front of him. He's not really doing much work.
Yeah.
But eventually, and you guys can look out and see very much rustic, orange, reddish leaves that slowly kind of fade away to a small hill that starts leading up towards a large castle-looking, beautiful site that of the Centaurium. And you start looking down, and the sound of like dirt and like woods slowly gives way to like cobblestones, and like you can hear the clicking of the horseshoes on the stones as you guys eventually look down and outside, and you guys are passing over the bridge as the river goes underneath. And we'll jump back to Anais as you hear a knock on the door.
Okay. I was probably like looking at like his shelves of books at this point, and like reading every like thing and seeing what might be cool. And then I hear the knock and I like stiffen, and I will like slowly creep over.
Anais, it's precarious. I didn't want to open the door just in case.
Oh, okay, I'll open the door.
Oh, good. And
I was like right there, like I didn't know what to do. So it's just there.
Yeah, you're kind of staying there, and he has clothes in his hand, but you had already brought in clothes. Did you change from the clothes that the woman brought to you?
Mostly, I think I would have kept what I had though. And I would keep my wrappy scarf thing, and I would still have it on me.
Yeah,
so I still
incorporating it. Yeah, nice. Yeah, and you can kind of see as it's like, yeah, I didn't really know what to get. Never had a daughter before, and you kind of see just like this like really large frumpy dress. He's like, I'm glad she got that, and he kind of puts it down and goes, "Exciting news. Ballas approved." He said there had been a few dropouts and people not showing up, and you are more than happy to be the representative of the elves in this convening. So, for now, you are safe here and you can stay, and you will be staying with the other chosen, from the different regions, but you'll be safe, of course, and you can meet new friends and study here, and I'm always here to, if you have any concerns or anything, my door's always open. But
she like signs like, what do you mean staying with them?
Well, I mean, of course, all the
what does that mean?
All of the members of the convening will be staying together. It's the whole point of the Centaurium is to learn to coexist and trust each other, and to gain political communication and trust in battle, and it's the whole point. We're trying to garnish peace by forcing people to get along, teaching people how to get along, of course. But
okay, so
there's
she
word
like kind of
that
nods.
the first ones are arriving. I think we should go welcome then. Yes. And there's like this excitement on his face as he's like, "I've been waiting for this." Come on, let's go. And he starts turning around and kind of just like waving at you.
Okay. I start to reach for my stick, and I look at him like sort of questioningly, like, can I take this type of look?
Yeah, he kind of like looks back and sees that you're not moving, and you're kind of like holding the stick and the staff there, and he goes, "It'll be fine. You don't need that right here. Don't worry. If anything happens, I have magic. I'll protect you. You don't need a weapon right now. Unless you want
Okay,
it."
so she like slowly props it against the wall.
I mean, you could make it look like a walking stick if you wanted to, I guess.
She thinks about it. Then she takes it.
Sure, yeah, it's a little crude, and you can either kind of carry it with you just like a staff and be that girl, or if you want, you know, you can kind of not hide it, but like hold it in a way where it looks more like a souvenir from your travels here, you know, as a walking stick sort of thing.
It's really leaning into the elven barbarianism thing.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if she would necessarily hide it too much, but she wouldn't want to make it look like she's like brandishing a weapon either. So, you know,
yeah,
walking stickish. So, okay.
Give me a just a generic deception check. We'll see how well you do that.
Okay. Hold on. Let's see. 16 actually.
16. Okay. Yeah. It's very easy enough. You kind of are able to kind of prop it into the ground a few times to kind of curve off the sharp point to it. Still probably functional as a spear, enough to protect you, but it's not finely curved to a point, and it definitely looks a little bit stumpy enough to be more of a walking stick sort of thing. So.
Sure. Sounds good. Then I will go with him.
Yeah, you kind of start making your way down the spiral staircases. Every so often, there's a window that looks out in that direction towards the bridge that connects the gap, and you can see down below a horse that it's being tied up to a post, and in the distance, 2 carriages coming towards. But you make your way to the bottom, and following Bardicdice from kind of this back living area where the temple is and the few houses and things like that here, you follow the path to the main kind of series of walls and different rooms that you guys have not explored or been shown off yet. But just continuing straight through, it's like a straight path. You walk back out into this grand entranceway where the kind of statue of the turning orb is, and continuing out to the front, you see a gathering of people. A older man, seems to be gray hair, his own walking stick, but seems to be sitting off to kind of like a garden bench to the side, glasses at the kind of tail end, and he's reading a book, just sitting there waiting. Human. You see a woman clad in silver armor, that has almost bright silver eyes, and her hair tied up in a tight bun, but she has a white cape that almost seems to be billowing in the wind. But you notice it's not really windy here. Of course, Sir Bardicdice is walking with you. And I'll go ahead and introduce him. And in the corner, you see a very, very well dressed person, tuxedo and a top hat, with almost like the cocktail sort of tail to the jacket, as he seems to walk forward to this a larger man that seemed to have just been tying up a horse to a post. And both Anais and Kaharangi, you guys see a orc walking up to you, top hat, well dressed, and a spectacle, as he goes, yes, welcome to the Centaurium. May I take your bags for you, sir? And he's it does a quick bow to you. I am Sir Garen Amon, at your service. And he's walking up to you, Kaharangi.
I slowly take my bag off my shoulder because I'm not used to this. And I look through it to see if there's anything important. And then I nod my head and I hand him the bag.
Sure. Yeah, orcs, you haven't really come across too many of them, but they're very much seem to be kind of in the same grain as like the Goliath. They're natural born race that seems to be very shamanistic and maybe a little bit more cultured than the Goliath are, but you've never quite seen one in a tuxedo before. Full tusks going up. And he stands there. He goes, "Thank you, sir." And he grabs your bag and snaps to a few kind of young women or girls and boys that are like running up. And yes, you'll take this back to the general area, you know, for housing as we separate it. Sir, I assume you are the representative from the Kalishtar.
That would be correct.
Good. Yes.
Do you know where I need to be?
And like without even thinking, like listening to you, he goes, "Back to the second house over there. Make sure to put the bag there. They are waiting for you, sir. My greetings to you." And he kind of just like waves as he bows to the welcoming gathering of people waiting there for you. Seems to be
so I just nod to him and I head on the way he pointed.
Okay. You can see two carriages kind of slowly arriving in the distance. You see an older, white-haired, green-robed elf walking with a smaller, short, bushy-haired elf with very fine robes and streaming down scarf that wraps around her and sends down. But you can also see walking out from another hallway a very strong, tall guy about your height with blue skin and golden armor that seems to have a round symbol like this on his chest piece, walking up towards you. And that is where we're going to take our break, everyone, as right before we get to see the first meeting of all four of our characters and see what happens. So thank
Will
you
it
guys.
be as awkward as the first one?
How awkward
Who
it is.
knows?
That was amazing. What are you talking
It was beautiful.
I love it. Mwah. But thank you
Has
guys.
flashbacks to high school.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But thank you guys, everyone that's shown up to support us. I'm super excited. Thank you guys for watching and just taking your time. It means everything to us. And a quick shout out, Creepy, thank you so much for the 500 bits, man. I really appreciate it. That's so nice of you. Rob, thank you for the various soda pops throughout the night. It means a lot. Jason and Exorcist, thank you so much for subscribing. That's really nice, bro. I appreciate it. So yeah, quick shout out. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. So go ahead and enjoy our break with our official damage song by none other than Leon Kane. Hello, welcome back. Thank you guys for staying with us over the break. Quick shout out to Angie. Thank you so much for hyping up the chat and reminding everyone to follow us on all of our social media. For DiceAntics, we have Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and soon YouTube. Nothing's up yet. I'm still working on that, but they will be soon. And another reminder, again, spread the news. If you know anyone that wants Tasha's cauldron, we are doing a giveaway once we get to 15 subscribers. So super excited about that too. All right, so as we jump back in to Fates United, yeah, Anais, you see as the well-dressed orc, and you're a little overwhelmed as there's quite a few people meeting here that seem to be starting to gather to present themselves to maybe visitors who have are now arriving. You can see a larger man, which you recognize to be a Kalashtar, as you guys had had a few interactions with Goliath and Kalashtar over the years. At least enough to recognition. Maybe you didn't have direct interaction with them. But you see a Kalashtar walking up, and two carriages arriving in the back. But walking up to meet you, Orangi, is, again, the large man with bluish skin. And as you're walking up towards him, it's almost as if his eyes seem to have a little bit of a glow to them. can't quite tell. Maybe it's just the sunlight hitting, but his irises almost seem to reflect back a silver when you're looking at him. He walks up towards you and goes, "Yes, hello. Welcome to the Centaurium. I am Sir Valis, head of the Inquisitors and head of the Centaurium. You must be, not the Kalashtar we were expecting, but the representative, yes?"
I would be the representative, that is correct. My name is Kahuranji Ulad. I am the brother of the one you were probably most expecting. Things took a... There's some things that need to be tended to at home, and so they had me come here instead.
Understandable, of course. Chieftains and all those political realms, they have much to do, but welcome in the stead, Kahuranji Ulad. And he puts out his a large grip to shake your hand. And
I look at it for a second, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I never...
Yeah, this is like one of the first times you feel someone feels like they have a stronger grip than you. It's not hurting by any means, but you're usually the one that has the stronger grip. You clench back or anything, or like, what's your reaction to that?
Oh, of course I'd clench back.
But I mean, like, are you trying to make a show of it to, like, you know,
no, I
be
do like
stronger, or
I do like a firm grip, not so much like be stronger, but like
respect? Yeah,
respect, but not backing down.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like the Arnold grip, you know, the
Arnold. Do the job. Yeah, no, he definitely, you see a bit of nod and a sense of recognition, fighter to fighter. Very well. Good. Come this way then, of course. Let me introduce you. And Valis seems to be a little bit seemingly very straightforward. You recognize many of like captains and commanders in the army seem to have the same sort of demeanor. He definitely seems to be a leader and a commander in any sense of the word. He definitely kind of takes the presence of the room. But he leads you over and pointing at first to the woman who's standing there. He goes, "This is Lady Lexus Nian. She is the local cleric and temple master of the Centaurium. She makes sure to upkeep the religious studies and healing, of course, here." And she kind of looks back and she goes, my greatest greetings to you." He turns and you see next to him an older elf man, and of course,
I'll be greeting each one in kind too, briefly, as they greet me back.
Sure, definitely. And he kind of points, "This is Sir Bracarius," who walks forward and kind of very warm and embrace. He goes, it is quite good to meet you. I have spent many years studying your Kalashtar tribe and the traditions with my fellow, you see a little hesitancy, professors and compatriots. But please, I'm sure you would love to meet one of your fellow students here, Anais, Alderos, of course, and kind of like
I'm standing behind him.
Yeah, like hugging his like.
Practically,
like,
not. Yeah, I'm not. I'm just standing behind him, and like, there's like a lot of people in this room.
They're all looking
and I look
at you
super uncomfortable.
Yeah, he kind of like turns and is like to present you, and then kind of like realizes you're behind him, and then like sidesteps and like does the other like, "Anais, go ahead and introduce yourself to." Right. Anais is mute, everybody. There's very much a right. Yes. But she is last minute representative for the elves from of course my settlement, the Solastorm. You all know that the other tribes denied representation, but I'm proud to say you will take lead in their stead. But he's kind of still looking at you like, almost like, I don't, I'm not sure how this is gonna work.
I'm going to like squat down, so I'm like at eye level with her.
You have to like get on.
How close are you, man? Because how close are you?
He pushed you forward, right?
No, he didn't. He didn't push him forward. He just kind of stepped out of the way.
Okay, so he stepped out of the way. So
definitely a good like 6 feet away or so.
I would be at like a comfortable distance. Like if I was like talking with the person, like on the street, right? Like you'd be a couple of feet away. So I'm not stepping any closer to you or anything. I'm just
okay.
Squatting down to be like eye level with you. And I kind of just look at you and see if I can read any emotions off your face or anything.
Terrified. And Rachel, I don't know if you want to describe anything.
I mean, I think it would probably be pretty easy to see she's like high alert at least, like ready to do something in any second's notice type of thing. Maybe I don't know how much I'm supposed to give of how much you could tell, but I think that'd be a glance.
I was gonna
say tell she's terrified.
Yeah, I was gonna say from kind of your hunting and time on the battlefield, there's very much a look of fight or flight.
It looks a little PTSD to me.
Possibly. You can give an insight roll if you want.
Sure.
I would assume the fight or flight look is on the outside of your face, and it's not the wide eyes. Yeah, 6.
Yeah.
She's terrified. That's all I can see.
Yeah, you have no clue of any PTSD or anything like that. But definitely just a terrified, looking like someone that's almost about ready to flee.
Deer in the headlights.
Yeah, the kid that's like, yeah, I don't want to be here right now.
I just reach out my hand and I say, my name is Kahuranji Ulad. I just reached out like for a handshake. I just leave it there. Don't approach you or anything.
I look at Precarious. How does he look?
Go ahead. Okay. He's excited.
Okay. So I'll like very like timidly like reach out my hands.
So as I grab her hand, or so you grab my hand, right?
Yeah. That's what he wants. It seems like that. So sure, I'll do it.
Well, I wasn't sure if it was just both of you putting out your hands like this.
No, she would have grabbed it if that's what it's looking as like. Cause he's...
Yeah.
So when she grabs my hand, I'll kind of like cup it and hold it. So her hand's kind of like that, and put my other hand on top gently and slowly, not like rush to anything. And I'll just look at her and I'll be like, will you allow me to give you a voice for the moment?
Out of character, would I know what he's talking about? Like how do you want me to... Okay.
Well,
she just...
You can give me like a history check to see how much you paid attention to your father talking about the Kalashtar.
Yeah, I
sure,
think
why
that's
not?
fair. Because I think I would at least know.
Yeah, I was gonna say at first it would probably be like an intercultural thing, but between Bardicdice and your dad, they probably would have studied enough to find out about this.
I got 12.
You're not quite sure what he's insisting upon right now.
Okay. I will just look at him, and it's clear I look very confused. Like, and I'm just sort of like sitting there with my hand like in his, like, you know, I don't know.
Precarious looks so proud.
I just tried to say, like, I'm just trying to be like very calm and gentle with her, because it's like Kahu's kind of seeing this as like a scared animal almost, and like he's kind of having memories right now of one of his times on the battlefield, and him being scared and unsure what's going on, and he's kind of feeling a little bit of that right now, right? So he's just going to, as he holds her hand, be like, my people have a gift to speak one-on-one with others through our minds, and I'm asking your permission to do this.
Okay, so she looks like she is like kind of processing like what he's saying. And
D's comment made me laugh, sorry.
now I read it. Okay. And I guess she'll actually like pull, like she'll kind of like, she probably has her note, like like that notebook he gave her, Bardicdice, like with her, and she pulls that with the other hand, and then she kind of like with like the other hand like out of his grip, and so she can write back her response.
Okay.
And
he's not gonna, he won't like hold it forcefully. He'll let you.
Yeah. And she'll write back to him like, I don't understand what you mean.
I look to Sir Vicarious, and I'm like, you seem to understand what it is I'm talking about. It's hard for me to explain this to somebody who hasn't experienced this.
Quite excited to see it in person, actually. I've read much about it. Nice. The Kalishtar are in tune with this more spiritual side of their culture and able to speak mind to mind with someone. A link. Telepathic, if you will. If they choose. I do believe that's what you mean. Not, of course, using your own voice, and in your case, and you see Bardicdice kind of being like, not able to speak, of course, to everyone else. He's trying to explain it to everyone else. It's a weird situation too going on, but he's, if you choose to, I believe Kaharangi here could speak with you directly. Can we all hear? I'm really curious how it works. This is fascinating. I love studying. Or is it like one-on-one?
I say, do you want to see?
You're speaking to
Bardicdice.
To Bardicdice, right? Yeah.
Vicarious.
Yeah.
And I'll mind link with him.
Oh.
And be like, it's really just a one-on-one experience.
Oh my. But he says it out loud. Okay.
And
can
it's
you hear me?
that,
He like sends it back to you.
if I allow you to, and then I give him the ability to speak back.
Wait. Am I speaking
So I finished the connection.
Yeah. Am I speaking in your brain?
You are.
Fascinating, exquisite, beautiful. Oh, this is amazing. And he's like, turns and you hear him, but he's like talking to Varys and be like, how cool is this? And and you just see the Varys guy just kind of looking between you, a little confused. Right. And then out loud he goes, that's right, you couldn't hear that. Fascinating. Amazing. Oh my. And you just see him like he takes out a book and he's like scribbling furiously. Very definitely seems to be a geek and nerd of his own scientific nature.
Yeah, Nice is just watching the exchange, like, back and forth, like, her eyes are, like, darting between, like, Precarious and Kahu, like, ding, 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 you know, like, watching them.
I'll kind of squat back down and I'll be like, if you ever need someone to talk to, just let me know.
And you actually hear Varys. Well, what an example and a first step of getting along among the different kingdoms. This is what the Centaurium is all about. As you guys hear a carriage and horse steps and a whoa, Nelly, whoa, on the second carriage, trying to stop, but it kind of like goes skidding to a halt as two carriages pull up, kind of in front of everyone. I see that more visitors have arrived. And both
as this is really fast, as this is happening, like Kahu might see a notebook like come into his field of vision, and it just says "Thank you" underneath it, and then that's it. And then she puts it over back.
Steps behind Precarious again.
Yep.
I need both Anais and Kahu to give me a perception check.
Hey.
I did so good.
17.
Ooh.
I got a 24.
Okay. Both of you guys look up to the sky a little bit as attracting your attention away from the carriages that everyone else is looking at. You see something moving in the sky over the forest. Seems to be a large bird maybe heading in your direction. Something with two wings. It's brown and white. Just nothing you've identify before. But after you see that, you hear the driver of the first carriage stepping down and a little bit more formally dressed, announcing her arrival, Queen Terrace, right? Terrace. He didn't say that, I did. That's the one name that got flipped around in my thing, so my bad. And the Inquisitors all kind of stepping off their horses, but kind of waiting for the door to open, and the door opens as you see Lady Terrace, Terrace Broden step out. And she has very striking red hair with a orange kind of helmlet, I think they're called. But a very striking and direct look. And then in the back, and announcing Miss Lady Miki and the boy. And the other driver opens up the second door, and the Inquisitors just look back at him, and he's like, oh, sorry. But Zachary and Mekai, you can both get out. But the rest of you see the Queen step out and put her hood down. Zachary, you notice her demeanor, as you were expecting, very straightforward. She puts on a warm smile. Severus, it is a pleasure to see you again. It is good to be back. Sir Bradicarius, it's a wonderful honor to see you again, and I see there are a few here that I have not met before. I guess you can say Queen now. Please, just Lady for now here. No seem to be titles here, and we're all here together, of course. I am Lady Terrace, and she puts out her hand very much like this to you, Kaharangi. And you?
I put my hand out and I take it. I just kind of give her a nod and I say, my name is Kahurangi, Ulad of the Kalishtar tribes.
It is a pleasure to meet you. I look forward to continuing the developing trust between our nations, and convening of the Centaurium is all for the good of the kingdom, of course. Bradicarius goes, my lady, of course, a representative from the elves. Pleasure to introduce, of course, Anais. She's a representative. she's mute. I want to put that out there.
Well, it's a 10 out of 10 protector.
Like, yeah, nice.
I mean,
Just like gives her a
like how are you
nod.
supposed to like introduce it? You know what I mean? Like he's
Yeah,
just like, I don't know
like,
what.
she's
Like,
gonna
don't
sit there
talk to her. She's not gonna talk
silently, yeah.
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
She can understand you, of course. Yes. Anyways, nice. And the lady walks up to you to gracefully greet you as well. Kind of puts out her hand.
Okay. Every time people are giving her hands, it just takes her a minute. Like,
And you see
So
a
it
bit of
takes
a
you-
like raised eyebrow of like not many people wait on her. But a quick recovery and
Off with their head.
yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there eventually. Like,
she looks back at Rydurius.
just-
You know what to do, don't you?
take her away.
But do you shake her hand as well?
Yeah, eventually.
Okay. Yep. And she kind of steps to the side, and of course, also representing as New Organia, my squire to be in training, Zachary. And she points back to you, Zachary, as you're walking forward.
If possible, at some point too, like on the way out, I want to stop by Lady Letta, and I want to give her the note and ask her to give it to Arcanist Turin when she gets back.
Sure. Are you doing this like while they're all having introductions, or is this?
Yeah, like right when I get out, just walk over to her.
Should probably introduce yourself, but yes, I'll make sure they get it away. Like the
Thank you.
Inquisitors seem to be standing in very like formal positions and kind of like, not right now, kid. You know, kind of motion. Like she takes it real quick. She's like, yeah.
Sorry for bothering you. This is important. Okay.
It's cute.
She
Really
just doesn't say
encapsulating
anything.
the high school experience with Zachary.
You pick up on the fact that she's looking like straight at Varys. As you kind of realize, oh, you know, they're in front of their High Inquisitor, their leader.
I'll shuffle away from her.
And the lady's kind of like, as she's like, you were doing this while the queen was like introducing you. And I'm sorry, I don't believe I've had the pleasure to meet you. And she's looking at you, Meikai.
Oh, my name is Meikai Imai. Obviously the tiefling representative.
And this time, Lady Lexis steps forward. She goes, "Oh, from Hanusaka. Wow, it's quite a pleasure. You have a beautiful homeland. It's very well to meet you. I'm excited to discuss and hear everything that is going on at home." And there's a bit of a taking you in and right as you feel she's might be recognizing what the silver hair means. As she turns on, this is fantastic. Of course, so exciting. 2 decades of in making. As Zachary Meikai, you can like start making your way up. What else do you guys do? Or is everyone just kind of standing around?
Wait, I haven't greeted the queen at all, have I? Okay. I'll make my way up. Super poised. Very, like, straight back, kind of just making my way up, and I'll greet her first, and then...
How are you greeting her?
Would I know a proper way to greet her?
Up to you. You're the one coming up with tiefling culture.
Yeah,
tradition.
I'll give her a greeting that's common in my homeland, but then also the curtsy thing, and then reaching my hand out. I keep seeing everybody doing that, so obviously that's going down.
Insight roll as she takes yours.
Okay. Ooh, let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to get used to all my things. Where's insight? Wait. 22.
22. The rest of you see the queen kind of the same as the rest of you, kind of just very warmly kind of greet, and it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Mekai, you feel a tensing of her hand as she grabs yours. A little bit more, not painful, but a little more forceful than you think she had intended as she greets yours. It seems to be that there's a bit of a physical tension that you pick up on when she meets you. Right. Very well. I'm, as you can all understand, a little tired from the travels. If you don't mind, if maybe you would show us where we will be staying. And Vera steps forward. He goes, "Oh, of course, my lady, of course. Please excuse us. You may all continue to make introductions and tour the facilities and the Centaurium. There's much history here. There's the town, local, Rosewood, if you would all want to go down and visit. There's a tavern there, trade, shops, of course. If you need anything, please reach out to us as well. Lady Lexus, when they are ready, if you could show them their housing as well." And he looks over to the 4 Inquisitors, and he goes, "And I'll meet with the 4 of you once I'm done with the queen." And they all kind of just nod and wave, and you see them walking off, back towards, discussing a little bit and walking back towards inside. And the front, the carriage driver from the first carriage, grabbing all her stuff and kind of dragging along behind them.
Is Bracarius still there?
Bracarius is still there. You also see Sir Garen Amon the orc, who had quickly snapped his finger to get quite a few what seem to be almost like servants here, butlers, that all are dressed very nicely, kind of starting to grab all of your gear and different stuff from the carriages and walking them off.
Okay. Yeah, I'm probably back to really hovering by him, so that's all I'm doing.
And,
Oh, I was gonna say, after I watched the queen kind of walk off, I'll greet Vicarious and Kahu and Ananias. Same kind of things.
What did you say originally again?
Oh, I'm greeting everybody, you and Ananias. So I'll kind of look up. You're tall.
I'll squat down like I did for Ananias. Reach my hand
I don't
out.
look very happy. You don't have to do this in the future.
You also don't need to put a board as stiff on your back to try to be taller, but it's fine. And I shake your hand.
It's training. I'm sure you understand. Mekai.
Kahuranji. It is nice to meet you.
You too?
Any idea what we're in for here?
No, literally told yesterday. I'm here.
My parents said that I'd be the one to come here, but they didn't really explain super well what this whole thing was beyond a meeting of the different races.
I'll look at Vicarious, since he kind of looks like he knows stuff here.
He's excitingly
And kinda just-
looking at everyone, writing
Oh
down
my
notes
gosh.
and
Such a
sketching.
dork.
Oh, I know.
I love it.
I'll go over and greet him.
But
Introduce
of course,
myself.
Sir Bracarius, Mekai, pleasure to meet you. The tiefling culture is beautiful and extravagant with your culture and everything. Even so, the silvering. So, I mean, it's quite fascinating. We would love to hear about the source of magic behind it, of course. No offense. I mean, if
it's and I'm gonna look at Anais.
Oh, of course. And my niece, everybody, Anais Odoras. Yeah,
My
he's the
mute niece.
worst. he's overselling this at the moment. She can
Like,
understand
literally
you,
everyone.
of course. She's the representative from the elves, and it's like this, like almost like trying to sell the fact that like you're normal.
I'm gonna put my hand on his shoulder, and I'm just gonna look at Meikai and be like, she understands what is happening. There's just a lot going on. If you speak with her, she will understand what you mean.
Like a normal person, of course. Yes. Like anybody
just
else.
tell me. I'm gonna like pull him off to the side and just be like, just start chatting with him about Kalishtar stuff.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, he's like 1,000 questions going, and the mind meld, and do you do this to everyone? And yeah.
Okay.
It's like she looks so she almost looks so overwhelmed. It's like she's not even like, I think if it was like in a normal situation, she'd almost be like, hey, you know, like the way, but it is like she's just so like it's like it's not even occurring to her. Although, hey, Mark, doesn't Zachary have that really cool, doesn't he have something, or is that
Staff.
Yeah, do you have
Yes,
that?
I have my staff on my back.
You actually have it? Okay. So I do feel like she'd be staring at that a lot and like think it looks really cool. So you just keep catching her like staring at it.
I'm not really looking at you.
That's fine. She'd just be staring at it a lot.
No, I would go over to Lady Letta again.
Mm-hmm.
Now that her boss is gone, and I'm just like, sorry if I got you in trouble.
No, you're fine. You're good. It's, you know, with the queen and everyone there, it's just polite to make introductions first.
Okay.
You can go meet everyone. These are going to be your fellow kinship for the remainder of this time. Are you okay?
Just ready to learn, I guess.
Of course. And she kind of looks down at the note. What's this?
Just, I guess something happened to my sister, and I want.
Is she okay?
Yeah, no, thanks to her, and I'll point over. But yeah, I just want to make sure that Arcanist Turn is watching out for her, and a little bit in there to Iris too, that I know what happened and she needs to be safe.
Do you want me to send this back to Arcanist then?
Yes, please bring that. Are you staying here or are you going back?
Oh yes, we are meeting, obviously we are here to protect the queen, and there's Cerberus has us here for the time being to continue to prosper good, well-intended communication among the people in here, right, Durius? We're making sure no one starts fighting. That's all.
Okay.
That's another way of putting it. Hold on one second. And you see her do a quick casting and a few arcane words, and you see a silver dove appear and get summoned as she goes, okay, yes. And deliver this Arcanist to her, and she wraps it up and ties it to its foot, and then throws it off to go fly back to the capital.
Thank you.
Of course. Go meet
And
everybody. She kind of
Get out of here, kid.
like shoves you back towards the group.
I'm gonna drag the Sir Vicarious over to where Zachary's at.
Okay.
So when he's like, "Go meet everybody," I'll be like,
Is that home to an indigenous to your people? The green stone there. Oh, so Lady Leia, of course, it's a pleasure to see you. It's been ages. And he kind of seems like directed back towards the conversation there.
and then I'll walk toward. So I'll kind of like push him towards them.
Yeah, he starts talking to the Inquisitors and Rydurius and Graf. Yeah, you guys only see the 3 Inquisitors over there at the moment.
And then I'm gonna walk over to Zachary after I see him trying to like approach the group. I'll just reach my hand out.
Hi, I'll shake your hand.
My name is Kahuranji Ulad from the Kalistar tribe.
Hi, I'm Zachary, the squire of the queen. So, yep.
You hear Leia in the back. You are a representative here, of course. You're not just her squire. You are representing another faction of the humans. So,
Yeah, that. Nice to meet you.
It is good to meet you as well. Are you going to come join us?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
And then I'll walk back to the other two with
Ooh.
Zach.
who have been doing what in this time frame?
Yeah, so Meikai is, I mean, they're almost the same height. Like, I'm
And-
not towering above you. It's like 2 inches difference. But I'm
And-
just,
I was gonna say Lady Lexus, Nian, the other knight there, had seemed to walk over to the Inquisitors and are greeting them. So you four are now kind of like off to your own, though stood apart. But yeah, I just want to let you guys know.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just kind of take in Anais as being. Can I see how she's feeling, too? As like
Oh, man.
Vicarious got like pulled away.
Yeah, sure. Insight roll.
Okay.
Riot roll it.
So I got the emotes. There you go.
19.
And Rachel, if you just want to say how you look, or if you want to roll some sort of deception or persuasion, up to you. As
Oh,
well.
she's not trying. No, she's not trying to deceive anyone. She doesn't even think about that right now. Yeah. So she, yeah, she would just again kind of like what we said with Kahu. Like she looks very
Mhm.
deer in the headlights. You probably almost get the sense that she's like a second away. Like if someone makes some sort of mood, like she's gonna be like booking it down the hallway type of idea. So
Yeah. Okay.
especially with Bardicdice being led away, like in some ways it was like maybe it was a relief, but in other ways it's like wait, like the only person I trust. So now she's
The only-
standing there, looks like she has no idea what to do with herself.
Your friend left the party.
Yeah.
And Meikai,
Yeah.
you've dealt with plenty of like deer up in the mountains where you're from. This is very similar to a fearful doe that looks like it's about to dash off if you make any sudden movements.
You're clean, but you're thin.
Yeah, she's super thin.
I thought you
yeah.
said that out loud.
No.
You're clean. I love it. I was like, wow,
We
y'all
thought
are
it
an
was
awkward bunch.
before, now it's
Okay.
really awkward.
And you are mute.
Don't know what to say, but you are clean. Amazing.
No.
And then Kahu
no.
sweeps in and pulls Meikai.
Right.
Yeah, okay, time to take you out.
This is gonna be harder than I thought.
No. So I had all my stuff with me anyways, and Kylie had given me that like little basket, and so I'm just gonna kind of look at Anais and then at the basket, and then offer her some. My name is Meikai. I would love to learn your name, if you would write it down. This place, and I'll kind of like look around. I'm looking a little unsure, not like nervous, but like unsure. I got here suddenly, so I understand some nervousness. I have some treats if you want. You look like you might have a sweet tooth.
Yeah, so she'll, as she's talking, like, probably even as you said, like, you could write it down, like, she was already kind of, like, starting to, like, get her thing out again, like, her notebook. So she'll write down, my name is Anais, and then she says, she writes, I was here, or I came here suddenly too.
It's a lot. I don't really know what else to do. So, is it alright if I just stand by you?
She nods and then she writes, there's too many people.
I agree. I've been on my own for a while, so this is a lot. I'm just kind of like looking around, like I glance down at, after she writes something, and then I'll just kind of like look around. We're just standing awkwardly next to each other, but I'm looking like if somebody comes and like intercepts, not being protective right off the bat, but more just like looking like I'm the assertive one. But yeah, so I'm just waiting around.
Yeah, she'll write down, I've been on my own too. It's strange to be with people again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. But there are lots of things that you can learn here that I have heard about, so it's not going to be a bad thing, just a new thing.
She just kind of nods. Uncertainly.
And at this time, that's when Kawarangi and Zach kind of join up.
I'm like looking up more at the architecture and stuff of everything and taking the scenery in.
And so that's when I'm just kidding. So, I mean, it seems you've already met this one here. I believe Meikai was their name, but you should go introduce yourself to Anais over there.
Did Kahu just become our dad?
I was just standing next to her the whole time. You guys came up as I was standing next to her.
Hi. I'm Zach.
Oh. Yeah, I already know who you are.
Anais goes back to the page she was on and points at the thing she had written earlier and shows it to him. It just says, "My name's Anais."
Hi.
It's actually kind of funny because he's just as talkative as you are, Anais.
So I look up at him for a second.
How does Anais react to that? Is it still fear? Is there a little chuckle at all, or what?
Not a chuckle, but also not scared. It's more just kind of like that type of look, interesting.
I smirk a little bit, knowing Zach's.
I feel like this is a tough room. Food. I think we need food.
Yes, of course. And Lady Anian, that we can definitely make that happen. And Sir Radirius is like, yeah, I am starving. They didn't let us stop for a pee break or to eat. Let's you guys ready? We can go in.
That might explain the demeanors of everybody here. So let's get some food.
Better than food to open everyone up.
You said that Sir Rayland is not visible right now.
Give me a perception check.
I want to take a look for him. It's like a little challenge
you
for
guys
myself.
Are looking around, and there's three inquisitors and a what seems to be some sort of knight or cleric. As Lady Nian is here. 5.
Yeah.
You didn't see him walk off. You didn't see where he went. You have no clue where he is.
I know he was here before, but
you know he's here
He's
before.
just
There's
right
a fourth
in front of
horse,
you.
but there's no Rayland.
Yep.
God, I love Lucy's character. She gave me Rayland to use. It's so much fun. But yeah, Radirius and he says, Sir Graf, why don't you take the horses to the stables? I will meet you in the Great Hall. Everyone, we can go forward, and Bardicdice is like, great, yes, of course. I can't wait to share notes and everything. This is exciting. This is so good. He definitely seems to be the cheerleader among everyone. But as everyone starts to walk off, Anais, you feel a hand on your shoulder, and it's Bardicdice. He signs real quick. Are you doing okay?
She signs back, with huge eyes, overwhelmed.
I know. You're doing so good, though. I don't know how to introduce you. And he's still signing this all, like,
Yeah.
am I supposed to tell people you're mute? Do you just want me to let them find out on their own?
She signs, it's probably better they know right off the bat.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Okay, good. You're just best to break the ice, if you will. Well, that's a panda bear joke, actually. Don't worry about it. And everyone else, he kind of like pushes you forward to follow everyone else. I need all 4 of you to give me a perception check.
Hey. Party roll. Oh, suck.
Natural 1.
Natural
Oh,
one! A Renin roll.
15.
Wow. All of you are so engrossed in the newness and overwhelming of each other. That you're kind of just all looking between each other, making small talk if you're still talking. Distracted
I feel
by...
like Kahu's trying to talk and everybody's ignoring me.
Yeah.
I'm not ignoring him.
We're not ignoring you.
But...
It's probably just not like a full conversation type of thing. So it's like 3-word answers,
Like
so you don't know what to
nodding.
say afterwards.
But Kahu, as you go to say something to Anais, you see her eyes are staring up. Anais, you notice, as you guys are walking into the front archway of the stonework where the gate would close, right? And you guys are starting to enter into this beautiful sensorium port area. The rest of you are starting to take in this beautiful architecture and statues and everything. And Anais, you look up and standing on a balcony of sorts, overlooking the courtyard, you see an older gentleman with black hair, peppered gray skin, with a red robe, kind of one arm kind of wrapped in it, holding like this, just staring off at you, or off at everyone, and seems to, when notice you make eye contact, starts limping off. He kind of has a cane, is limping off back towards the inside. So someone had been watching this whole interaction happen. But yeah, you guys make your way in. Sir Ryderius is all kind of steering you in as you guys come into this great hall, and he goes, of course, and this is the great, Bardicdice is starting to tell the whole story of the affinities again and the trade work. But you guys are brought in the front entrance, and then there's you can see down the main path to the temple. To the right, you can see another pathway that looks like stairs leading to like maybe another level underneath. And then you see the orc who's wearing all sort of top hat and everything, all pointing. Says, "Food is ready in the great hall. This way, please." And directs you to the left as you guys enter this grand hallway that has quite a few tables built, and you can see a quite interesting sight, as the chef here is an ogre. Not one you guys have seen before. Maybe Kahu, you've seen one with the Goliath before, but they don't live with the Goliath. They live north above the Elvish Plains, which you know to be near Giantsbane. But he's wearing like a white chef and a white chef's hat. Wearing a white chef. And you guys see him.
Oh no.
It's pretty cool. He looks
Like
good up
meat's
there.
back on the menu.
But as you guys come inside, you notice that there's a whole bunch of different foods of each culture, and everything's very finely plated, like a very fancy restaurant. And this big ogre's wiping, like little decoration on each plate almost like hand, holding in one hand and go, yeah, that's perfect, that's beautiful, that's good. No, that's wrong over here. You're supposed to plate it together. It's quite unique to see an ogre like this be so finesse. But everyone is able to grab some food and sit at a table. Ryderius said, and the Inquisitors kind of start sitting at one table. Brachirius and Nean start bringing you to another. As you guys can grab some food and go to sit down to eat, if you will. Yeah, what do you guys want to do?
Yeah.
As you guys
Can I
continue to
convince
roleplay.
them to sit down and eat in the same area?
Can you?
Can you?
Yeah.
Hey! I rolled a 18 on my persuasion.
18?
Yay!
Perfect. Yeah, you are very warm and greeting to all of you guys. The rest of you can decide, as you made a very convincing, welcoming gesture to grab food and sit down, whether to sit down with them or not.
Yeah.
You guys do notice in this great hall, though, it's just like the main room. It's like windowed panes, so it's like the sunlight's coming down and illuminating this area as well.
Hi.
I think anytime. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
I was just gonna say, even grabbing food. Basically anything that is new that is happening, she has to go look over at Bricarius to be like, "This is this safe type of look." So he probably has to be like, "Okay, this ogre is fine." So.
Wow, please tell me your adventurers, Inquisitors. This is amazing. He's not even paying attention to you at the moment.
Okay. No, I don't know.
Oh.
So yeah, you don't know.
I'm hanging back then.
Okay. Rangi, do you want?
I didn't
to...
convince you.
You see this?
Well-
and as she's standing back.
I just don't know how it would look. Just a straight roll like that, so it's hard for me to know if it would convince or not. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I
What does it look like?
get plates of food for everybody, big enough to hold all the food.
Like a dad at a vacation.
And I'm
at a
like-
banquet.
Trying to find a
buffet.
spot that's set away a little bit so that it's not I'm trying to find a spot where you feel like you're not being watched from all angles, because I don't like that either.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to just encourage everybody to come follow me to a wonderful place. And he's just gonna kind of be like, back home when new recruits, when I was first new recruit, found that the opportunity to eat with those that you would spend your time with was a great way to come together. A warm place and a full belly can really help ease the uncertainty that is that honestly we're all facing right now. So if you'd like to join me, please do. Then I'll head off.
Okay, I guess I'll come. Silently trailing behind him.
Yeah, luckily you
Yeah.
didn't have to
Few
actually
feet
go
away.
up and get a plate from the ogre as Rangi
Mhm.
grabbed the plate for you.
That helps. That helps.
Grab a bunch of plates. Yeah, I'll follow closely by Anais. And then I'll stop. And are there a bunch of drinks, or are they also on the tray, cafeteria style?
No, these are very much like bottles and very very nice stuff here. Everything's kind of easy. I hate to say buffet style. It's available where you grab it yourself. But there's
Mhm.
also things being presented out. I kind of think of a very fancy banquet, you know, where they're presenting
Yeah.
things, but there's also things available to you and kind of self-service and stuff like this. I mean, it's kind of meant to be
Okay.
more of a home as well. You guys can come whenever you want to grab something to eat or drink or anything.
Okay, I'll grab a couple drinks, water, and then like some other drinks, and just kind of bring them as well after.
What's
And
Zachary
sit
doing
down.
this whole time?
So he'd probably just like grab some food and kind of be nearby everybody, but not like he's like the outside of the circle, you know? So it's not really engaging, just kind of like there eating. Maybe pull out his book and have that next to the food and just kind of be perusing it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just nearby.
Does he look awkward, or does he look like he doesn't want to talk to people? Do you know what I mean?
Insight roll.
Why don't you do a Raya insight roll?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, okay.
I want to see what he's doing too.
Yeah. I mean, you guys, he's clearly sitting away from you, but nearby. So anyone, you guys can do insight rolls on him. And as you guys are getting to know each other and slowly kind of putting guards down or sizing up each other.
Yeah. 12.
16.
14.
Mark?
You
DM,
guys are
you wanna
generally
do it?
see that. I mean, he's just probably the two who got over, like the two higher ones would notice more that, like, he just seems like he doesn't really want to be the center of attention.
How does it appear to Anais then, being a little lower?
Probably more just he just likes being the outsider.
Okay.
Well, so I'll try to convince you guys all to sit down, eat with us.
Mhm.
There's a plate that's set for Zachary there as well. Food on it and everything.
I'd like one chair away from you guys. There's like one chair in between.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say,
Okay.
I'm picturing like a long table where you guys are like at the 3 at the end, if that's
Yeah.
how you guys
Yeah.
see, and then like 1 or 2 spots over from that, and then you know,
Zach.
2 rows over is where like the Inquisitors and Bright Carries and everyone's kind of like, you know, catching up and stuff like that.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and just start eating, and then just be like, "This food here is quite interesting. I'm usually much more used to fish or occasionally a deer hunt. It is always nice to be able to hunt a deer. It was a good family experience whenever I had opportunities."
Venison is always nice. As is fish. Fish.
You ever have the great tuna off the coasts of the oh dang, it's not up. Off the coasts of
The Fukusaga?
I think it's
Huh.
Yeah,
Oh,
sorry. I was trying to look for the map.
Oh,
Ah, here it is. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, off
Fukusaga?
off the coast of Fukusaga.
Oh, well, I have traveled a lot. Yes, I believe once at least before. It's been a very long time, but yeah.
You know, they can become quite impressive. I've seen one almost as large as our friend Anais over there.
Wait, were you talking about fish, by the way?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, her eyes get really big and she goes like to herself, like motioning to herself.
Yes. Feeds an entire family. Or, you know, me and a couple people.
She writes, "How do you get it? Like, how do you lift it?" And then just like slides the notebook over.
The trick is spearfishing, a rope, and help.
And the prayer.
Usually, when you get the spear in it, it'll tend to drag you with the boat for quite some time, and it's got to wear out. Then you pull it from the water and you clean it. First bite is always the best, though.
She's probably just listening, like, kind of like a wow look, like, on her face.
My younger brother really enjoys doing that. He, great kid. He's always full of so much life, wanting to rush and do everything. And I would often try to take him out fishing. He's getting quite proficient at it as well. Very excited. The last day I was able to go fishing with him, he was able to catch 2 or 3 fish before we had to attend a gathering of our people, but he is... I hope he can enjoy those moments while they last. He's kind of in the same position I was of, you know, in our lands we tend to make people, the younger family members tend to be the fighters, and I just hope he doesn't have to ever actually experience war in his lifetime. It's never a good thing, I don't think, for anybody. Necessary at times, but memories of fishing. I miss being out on the sea right now. I feel very surrounded. Stone on all sides of me. It's like I'm in the mountain. It's like I'm in the mountain, but not as natural. Although this is far more natural than I would have expected from any building that was created by people.
And just like earlier, you realize and start noticing that this place definitely seems carved out of like one stone piece. There's very little bricking and seams. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Really?
Go ahead.
I don't think that any of us are really in our element here.
I figured as much. That's why I'm trying to have us, you know, at least we can all be out of our element together. I'm talking a lot because I feel like you're all I'm talking a lot because I don't know where else to go at the moment.
That's as fair.
And as you say that, you all notice as a shadow seems to, on a cloudless day, seem to overcome the sunlight that's passing by. You all look up, and Anais and Kahu, at the time, you guys had seen something off in the distance, and it now seems to be engulfing the rooftop. As you guys all hear a Brickers, yes, the representatives from Venali, this is amazing. And he looks up, and you all see an airship, a boat. For any of you guys, Anais, and let's see, Zachary, you've definitely seen an airship before. Kahurangi and Meikai, you've probably seen them in distance going to Celestia and back and forth. Anais, you've never seen one of these before, but it's like a boat floating in the air, 2 kind of like sails that go out, and almost looks like a fish, and you all can see 4 large stones that seem to be illuminating, very much like the light stones that you guys saw in the city before, but this is illuminating red, and seems to be possibly what's you know, the propulsion of this, as it seems to be flying overhead and landing in the courtyard. He goes, yes, more visitors. Super exciting to meet more people. And that is where we're going to wrap up tonight's episode as you guys continue the awkward introductions and interactions as you slowly start to meet each other. Learn to find and settle into your new home at the Centaurium, and get to meet even more people coming here, as you guys know very little about how many, who, and where they're coming from. But we will go ahead and get into that next week. So thank you guys.
Can I just
go ahead.
Can I just say props to John for just single-handedly carrying like the entire conversation, trying so hard.
100%. It's funny, like now that you're all together, I should have pieced together that like, well, Mekai would be kind of standoffish, Zachary would be standoffish, Anais would definitely be standoffish. What? Whoa. Gonna have to have some charismatic people interact with y'all.
I figured it was going to be a possibility, and I was like, well, Kahu's not like the most charismatic person, but he has a big family, so like he's dealt with big situations, and he was a new recruit once upon a time, and like...
Isn't he the oldest too? So that kind of makes sense. Like,
Meikai is actually the oldest, I believe.
I am the oldest.
Oh, my bad.
But he's just under Meikai. Like, Meikai's I think is 23 and he's 22.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So good job is all I was gonna say. That was good work.
I was thinking of
So we're gonna wrap up the episode real quick. We can discuss this after the call. My bad. It's still exciting. It's super fun. But I definitely want to wrap this up. We're 15 minutes before Critical Role and 10 o'clock. I definitely want to be hitting to that as much as we can. But I want to thank everyone so much for joining. I saw a lot of names in there, so thank you so much for the first time people coming in and checking out our D&D Dungeons & Dragons game. Again, no one ever has to sub, cheer. Rob, thank you so much for all the cheers. If you enjoyed what you saw, the only thing I ask is maybe you guys could share and tell your friends, and maybe post something on the social media. That would be the best thing, and super grateful for that. But as custom here, we want to shout out other Dungeons & Dragons games, and we'll be switching off each week for ones we know and other ones and stuff like that. So tonight, go ahead and we're going to go ahead and raid Quincy's Tavern, someone that I follow on TikTok a lot. So go ahead and say hello and shout out Bardicdice and DiceAntics and your own stuff. But we'll give them a cheers for their story as well. So thank you guys again so much for joining. And I'm excited to see what happens next week as we get to meet more people and explore more of the Centaurium and the surrounding areas and get into some fun. So thank you guys so much, and have a great night.
Bye!
Bye.